Welcome aboard, everybody. Welcome to By Leaps and Bounties, presented by Rook and Rasp. This is a 7C actual play. The system from being produced by Chaosium. We are not affiliated with them. We just like the games. And hopefully, y'all, this is our second season. We are on episode 6 entitled Empire of Bones. We are coming to the midpoint of the season. Things are going to start getting exciting. We've had lots of interpersonal drama. We're going to start to ratchet up to a little more swashbuckling and running the rigging and all sorts of cool stuff. So, with that being said, we will go through introductions. If you are just new and joining us, I'm Danny. I am the storyteller. I run this game, but I do not control it, as I say every episode, because it is absolutely true. And yeah, so I will be you know, hopefully steering this thing in some kind of direction. Maybe jerkily some kind of direction, but hurting in a general direction. That's what I can hope for this time. And let's go ahead. Michael, we rarely start with you. So let's start with Michael this time. Introduce yourself, please, and your friend.
Hi, I'm Michael. I play Andreas. He is a Sarmatian Commonwealth duelist and sorcerer with a friend and newly ship-owning captain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Belladonna. The Belladonna has now been so dubbed and is about to be outfitted. Excellent. Alla,
Hello,
to introduce
I'm
yourself.
Ala, and I play Ninette Primevere of Montaigne, who typically makes good deals unless it's with otherworldly eldritch entities, and sometimes they come knocking for their dues.
Just like a practice.
Deals with other things and sexy Porte mages.
That was
You
one
do owe
time.
a favor to a certain Porte mage that he has not
Yeah,
called in yet.
it,
Just in
it
case you had
I
forgotten about all.
feel. Oh, no, a Primevere never forgets. Never forgives either. So
As we're learning, as we are learning, when the Prevailer does something, it is decisive. It is decisive and with great prejudice. Rue, would you
Hi,
like to introduce yourself?
my name is Root, and I play Ace McAnson. She is a sailor and a gunslinger from the Highland Marches, and a problem, but that's okay.
our problem.
And finally,
Lucky you.
John.
Hi, I'm John, and I play Gianni Messina, the Vidachi rogue of the group. And I guess more of a
Yes.
sailor now. Who knows?
Hey, you're kind of a sailor.
Yeah. I mean, you can still use your skills. It's very useful on a ship to have those sorts of skills, to be up there and get around quickly and dexterously. And pulling out my large words today. It's getting the end of the month. I gotta get in my quota of large words. So, all right. So, last time we met our intrepid heroes, they arrived in Labuka and they started offloading a bunch of things. They brought the Fortuna and invited the countdown to present him with this gift, which he was absolutely thrilled with. He was summarily pleased and invited everybody to come up to his estate and, talk and all of that sort of stuff, so you could hear all about their exploits in Charus. Yes, so they went up to the estate and they talked with the Count for a little bit and they learned some information. They asked him about what he knew of the Tempest and all of that, and they informed him of kind of what was going on and asked him for any resources he had and stuff and all of that. Everybody kind of separated for the evening. Gianni went with the Count after asking about the Tempest, and the Count took him up to his flag room on his collection floor. where he provided Gianni with the flag of the Tempest that he had actually procured somehow. Best not to ask too many questions about that sort of thing. But he had it. And this flag had a fate thread on it, a golden one, much like the one that is around our crew. I know, I was shocked too, Rue. I nearly dropped everything as well in shock and awe of what had happened. So, so Gianni now has kind of, I mean, they have multiple ways that they can track where the Whisper is or where the Carnival is with that. Meanwhile, Ace had gone to the baths. She was like, see ya, I'm gonna relax. And so she went to the baths and she relaxed and she started to relax. And Andreas went to his room and Nanette went to go talk to her parents. While Ace was in the bath, Charles showed up in a state because Tomas and Charles has also gone up to the estate with the group, of course, and Charles expressed some frustration about and confusion about how Thomas was acting towards him. He was quite confused. And Ace and then Gianni, when he went up to the baths as well, gave some advice. Both of them gave advice to Charles, and it made him cry a couple times, and that was very sad. And Andreas had a talk with his Davis, and Davis expressed boredom with how things were going, and that he was not being utilized to his full capabilities, and this was not something that he was happy with at all. Meanwhile, Nanette has a very awkward conversation with her parents, and managed to get out of that, and then decided that she was going to go and see Luna and Holly. Holly had expressed, that wondering if Ace was back, and Nanette invited her back up to the estate to see Ace. Andreas took a tour of the ship, a not date with Robert, to see the Belladonna, and dubbed it the Belladonna, and took stock of what needed to be done still. Yes. Ace was not as pleased as Nanette would have hoped to see Holly walking with Nanette in the hallway, because she had someplace to be after the bath. Nanette got word that the Sapphire Dawn had docked at Labuka. And so Ace was like, I'm gonna go check that out. Kind of ran past Nanette and Holly. Nanette took Holly up to her room to kind of console her about all of that stuff. And Ace went down to the docks and had an encounter with an ex, a blast from the past, who is serving on Ace's mother's ship. And she had an encounter with her mother. And she invited her mother up to the estate for breakfast in the morning. And everybody subsequently kind of went back and slept and did all of that. And in the morning, there was breakfast to be had. Gianni went to have breakfast with Nanette and her family. The family took totally the wrong idea and thought Nanette was with Gianni, which they both were vehemently denied that anything was going on. Gianni stepped in to save Nanette's honor a little bit and talk her up to her parents. And Tomas was just sitting there like, wow, I'm glad my sister is taking all the heat for me, and nobody's going to ask me what's going on with me, because it is super less important than my sister doing it in whatever it is she's doing. So
classic Tomas.
Wish Andreas had been at that dinner, at that breakfast. He's fielded.
That's what
He's
little
fielded.
brothers are for.
He's fielded breakfasts like that. He would have totally diverted onto Tomas a few times.
They're still fun.
So, having very awkward or angry or whatever breakfast that they had that morning after an exciting night. They all met together as they had agreed upon in one of the count's lounges to talk, and it was very tense. It was very tense between Nanette and Ace. Ace was probably justifiably not happy um, with Nanette, and things were
Jury's
happening,
still
and
out
he
on
was
that.
arguing with him. Yeah. And oh, I almost read the part where Ace did talk to Holly and I
Briefly,
apologize
yes.
and yeah. And then at the end, this one of the staff had come and said that Captain Stormrider had arrived at the estate, and that was the last bit that had happened when we left last time. So at this point, the crew was planning to get outfitted as much as they could, resources, tie up loose ends here in Labuka as much as they could, and then head out to try to catch up with Silent Death. So we focus in on the book, black, very dark leather, as before, with by leaps and bounties on it. Book 2 along the side. We have our uh, fate threads. We have our Davis profile. We have our half tattoo, and we have what looks like drops of blood in little frames in the four corners of the book. The book opens, we go past the first 5 chapters of book 2, and we land on episode 6 in brilliant font. It says Empire of Bones. And the picture, there's a picture above it, and below is a quote. The quote says, "Power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never has." Frederick Douglass. And the picture is of the staff person poking in and expressing that Captain Stormrider is here, and we kind of see the profiles of our 4 crew looking at the staff member and preparing for whatever it is they're going to do next. We focus in, color starts to bleed into the picture, and we start to smell the sense of the room, and starts to feel a little, the tension starts to become much more felt as the picture comes to life. So you 4 are in a lounge at the Count's estate, and have just been informed that Captain Stormrider has arrived. Let's go.
I hope you don't mind. I took it upon myself to bring someone here that might be able to help us, or at least be an ally.
Okay.
Good morning.
I don't think she's in here yet.
Oh, I thought she was.
She's not here yet.
The staff member is
Please-
indicating
Please show
that she
her
is here.
in. Please show her in.
I was gonna say, we can use all the allies we can get at this point. It's nice not making enemies.
I'm going to step out behind the staff member and wait in the hall.
Okay. All right, cool. So the 3 of you in the room, Ace has stepped out. The staff member goes down the hallway. And it's not, if you 3 want to have I assume Ace is just waiting on her own.
I am. I'm just waiting outside the
maybe.
door. I'm not far. I don't even know if the door's shut, but I'm just standing outside to greet her first.
Cool. So y'all do have an opportunity to say anything you want to say before another person arrives, if you would like. If not, we can skip to when she arrives.
Darius would probably just look over at Gianni and be like, were you interested in taking some kind of position on the ship, or did you want to kind of have your pick of what to do? Because I remember seeing you learning a bunch on the Fortuna.
You know, I will always be myself, but hey, if I'm going to be on the ship, I might as well do something. You need somebody in the rigging. I can do that.
From
Turns
what
out I'm
I've
actually pretty good at it.
from what Ace was telling me and what I was learning from Keg, we always need good people in the rigging and on the ship.
He's a Captain Stormrider, right? Isn't that a pirate?
Probably.
Um,
I mean, we're talking about. Last time I remember, getting multiple allies to go after, sudden death. This must be one of those moves. So,
Danny, about the table, would Andreas have heard of Captain Stormrider attacking, either attacking his ships or through his merchant stuff?
Yeah, well, you all probably would know, Captain Ileana Stormrider is known as the Temptress. She's known for having an all-women crew. And they mostly use, like, more, instead of just kind of like going up to a boat and raiding it, they often tend to do reconnaissance beforehand to find out any weaknesses. So their raids are very efficient. They've already kind of dealt with, they know where the ship's going to be, and they kind of know the weaknesses of the ship. So they get on, they're quick, and they get what they want, and they move on. So that would be what you know about this particular pirate.
Does that sound?
It's the Sapphire Dawn.
Does that sound
Let's see.
vaguely how my uncle's ship was raided?
Oh, the uncle that passed away?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Stop trying to make my mom be a killer in your family history.
Oh no.
God damn it.
There is that's not who he would not blame her at all for that. He blames something else for that. Something that
The
hangs
thing-
out right here for that.
Yeah, that was the Davis. But yeah. All right. Well,
mean,
if there is,
If we're okay with it.
I mean, you guys would have remembered she did ask about that. Ace did ask about that to the Count the other day. It was mentioned yesterday. So, and I think it was established that she was a pirate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, she's very effective. There's not, and it's like we need good allies. Going up against Silent Death is going to be difficult.
who else do you think was going to join us on this?
Oh no, I fully expected pirates to work for us. I just not quite so closely, I suppose. But whatever works. As you say, we are in desperate need of allies.
Totally.
all right. So after a couple minutes, this staff person comes back, and walking behind is Ileana Stormrider. When Ace saw her yesterday, she was wearing a very practical outfit. She was wearing, breeches, shimmies, just very practical for being on a ship. She is not wearing anything like that now. It is a much more fitted outfit, a much more showing off type of outfit. I will let imaginations go for that because I hadn't thought of particularly what it might outfit, but I know that she would dress to show off whatever
she's
aspect
dressed
she has.
for the job that she has. Yes.
Exactly. Slit skirt, showing off cleavage, that sort of thing. weapon at her side still. All that. High boots.
Does
That
she
sort
carry
of thing.
guns or does she carry swords?
She has a sword and a gun. One of each. One of each. And when she gets closer enough, you were probably a little, like, meeting her yesterday, but when she does get closer to you, you definitely recognize it as a McYanson gun that she has.
Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure if you would. I was going to leave word for you at the drop point if we had to leave before I saw you again. My captain and my crewmates, at least some of the officers, are inside. Thank you for coming. And
Of course.
And I'll take her inside.
Okay. So this is the first time you've met this woman. She Selma Hayek is the face. So long
the
dark
boobs.
hair, dark eyes, you know, in the outfit that I have described. And she carries herself like a captain, like very confidently when she walks into the room. And she looks at the three of you and then looks to Ace.
Yes, Captain Stormrider, this is my captain, Andreas Kairos. This is one of the officers, Gianni Messina, and this is our purser and surgeon at the moment, Miss Nanette Primver. I'll stay back here. They know more what our purpose is. I can't add a lot to it more than they can.
So Ileana will sit. She doesn't say anything at this point, but she will pick a chair and she will sit down. And she will look at the three of you and she says, we have similar goals from what I understand. I also have been trying to track Silent Death for my own reasons.
Interesting. So you already know we're planning to take him on.
I did give her the basics.
Oh, okay, there we go. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I should have said I did.
What?
Yeah, it's not a problem. I just was wondering if perhaps, word was going around the book what
No,
we intended. So
I certainly hope not. Nanette, did you have something to say?
No, I was just. We're just jumping straight into the conversation. Would you like some tea or a snack? This just feels rude not to offer.
It does. I apologize. I didn't even give you her name. Her name is Ileana Stormrider. She is captain of the Sapphire Dawn. She's the captain that I was looking for yesterday in the meeting with the Count.
Yeah, she'll take note of what you're not saying and she will, just continue with that. And she just says, no, I'm perfectly fine. Thank you very much. So, you have a ship, Captain Karras.
Yes. The newly constructed Montaigne frigate called the Belladonna. Still working on getting her fully outfitted. Crew has been pretty solid. I'm going to be hiring a new master at arms. But other than that, we are looking to sail within the next day or so, heading towards
His last known location.
his
Off the
last known
Commonwealth.
location. Yes, off the coast of the Commonwealth.
Ace will move from her spot next to the door. She was trying to stay out of it, but she's going to sit down. Is Stormrider on a sofa, like a settee, or is she on a chair, or
Either one.
Ace is going to sit nearby at a comfortable distance. She's gonna say, so
Okay.
what is not being said here is that we do need to go after him fairly quickly. I'm not. If you're willing to share the reason that you're after him, that would be fantastic. I have no problem saying why. He sunk the boat that I was on, and he has some very powerful things that he plans to wreak a lot of havoc with. Um, the goal here is not. I don't want to mislead you. The goal here, in my opinion, is not to uh, thwart him. The goal is to end him. Is that a similar goal that you share?
Yes, he has somebody dear to me that I've been looking for a long time on his ship among his crew.
I give her a very long look and I try to communicate with that look, but I don't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she looks bad. I mean, you know who she's talking about.
Yeah,
It's pretty obvious.
I rub the inside of my wrist where my birthmark is with my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Andreas
You
goes,
get
well,
like a pulse back, actually, at
Oh.
this point. Like you rub it and you get a little like rub back. Like you can feel it. Like he's,
Oh,
yeah, like he felt
Um,
it. So he's kind of doing the same thing.
That
I
may make naval confrontation difficult. If the person you're looking for might get injured.
This is true, but my crew is very skilled at finding what we intend to take on a ship and making sure it gets on our ship safely. That is what we do, after all. And part of my saying, looking at you all, you don't seem to be of the same occupation as we are, in the same sense, by clothes and looks and hands, not to be stereotypical, but you don't exactly look like pirates that I have met before.
at this point, I will look at Andreas and be like, "Captain, please."
will admit that I am new to this. This is my first ship. While my family has sailed and merchanted for many years, I instead took the path of the duelist. So I am definitely leaning on the skill and wisdom of the crew that has been brought together in order to be able to best manage the ship.
Mm.
Um, I have great faith in those that are under my command, and I believe that we will complete our goal.
Mm.
If I may interject, Captain Stormrider, you said something that I have a question based on something that you said. Do you have a Porte Mage on your crew?
We do.
Are they usually the ones that are used to get objects off the objects that you seek off of it?
On occasion, it depends on what the situation calls for. They're also useful for passing messages back and forth
Oh, absolutely.
to allies
Absolutely, yes.
that we have.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be convenient for us to talk if your Porte Mage is willing, since I'd be willing to have perhaps something marked of theirs that I can keep in my cabin. That way, a letter can be dropped off, or I can drop off a letter for communications. So if we find some
That
information, or you find some information, we might pass it along best.
That would make sense since our goals aligned. We are resupplying right now. So as soon as we get resupplied and repaired, we had to come back. We were here not too long ago, but we had to come back. We ran into some rather nasty weather on our way. But I'm given to understand that has been a common occurrence lately with what has been happening.
And see that.
I was under the, I mean, I was originally trying to track down sudden death because I had learned that they had person I care about on board. And then it was when I ran into Ace that she informed me of exactly what Silent Death was up to.
How? Oh, sorry, Gianni. Did you?
Ace, how much can I talk about here?
I think we can talk about all of it. I'm fine with. I mean, I'm Captain. Is that
I mean,
fine?
about me.
I don't believe that she will. I think. I would not have brought her here if I did not trust.
Alright. And I get up and
She
go over
kind
and
of
make sure the
raises
door is,
an eyebrow.
closed.
Like she's like,
She's not the only one.
I look outside, make sure there's nobody eavesdropping, of course. Okay, I'm closing the door. You know that Silent Death has aligned himself with, the a very specific merchant prince of Adachi.
I had heard briefly in fits and starts that Giovanni Villanova was involved somehow. Yes.
Well, he is definitely involved because he's. I think I said this. I can never remember. He's his father. So
Silent Death's father.
yes,
You mean.
yes.
She kind of takes that in for a second. She's like, do you know what it is that specifically that they are after?
A bracer belonging to a.
He already has it. He has both bracers.
Well, he's after.
He's
now
after the
treasure,
wreck.
yes.
Yeah.
He's after the
wreck.
carnival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ace is gonna move around and go stand by Andreas while
Belonging to an infamous figure known as the Tempest.
Really?
Yes. Who?
I mean, you hear tales in taverns and pubs and sort of like that, but you're telling me the Tempest was an actual
Yes.
person?
And Silent Death is an ancestor of his. Oh, no, other way around. Yes.
Yes.
The
Silent
Tempest was
Death
the
is
ancestor
descendant.
of
Yeah.
Silent Death. Yes.
I see. Which would explain why he wanted the bracers, as aforementioned. I'm assuming you mean Tempest bracers.
Yes.
According to the stories, he had these bracers that could control. Now it's all starting to fall into place a little bit.
As the saying goes, or the legends, everybody knew the legends. There was supposedly a fate witch on the ship with the Tempest.
I heard that story. Yes.
I'm starting to figure. I'm not even figuring, it's definite. The Tempest was the fate witch.
I wasn't aware that men could be fate witches.
Not supposed to be. It's extremely rare. And something that would be very frowned upon.
I can
Silent
see.
Death has inherited such things.
Well, I can only assume if he's going after the wreck and he already has the bracers. If it were me, that would mean that there is something on there that I wanted.
Yes. It also draws a lot of weird conclusions for me because something happened that the Tempest was cursed. It involved fate, but we didn't. I'm very confused because the ship was sunk. In some sort of
Presumably the Tempest with it, as the stories
Yes.
go.
in some great cataclysm, the Tempest and this fate witch going down. But now, if the Tempest is the fate witch, it puts a whole nother angle on that. So, I say all this for one ultimate purpose, and that is Silent Death can see fate. The
Right.
closer we get to them, the more obvious our relations and our intentions on that ship are going to be.
Hmm.
The closer, the further away we are, the lines of fate are stretched thin. One line looks like nothing else, but the closer you get to it, those lines will get stronger. I say this because I do not want anyone if to be caught unaware
Mhm.
that when we arrive, there's a good chance whatever it is that you are after on that ship, Silent Death will know about.
Hmm.
While they're talking, I will lean over to Andreas and apologize for talking over him. And I will say, Andreas, I don't. We can discuss later why I feel like this is going to be a good alliance for us. Um, I'm just asking that you trust me on this. So whatever we know, I think is good for her to know. I'm trying to say that quietly while Gianni is talking just over
It's
here.
talking. Yeah. Okay.
So that
Cool.
letting it cover. Andreas will um, quietly whisper in Vestin, because you know Vestin.
Mhm.
Reveal all of our secrets, or
Above the table, Michael, I don't remember. Do you know that Kaya is my brother and he's on?
that I do believe we know. I know that Kai is your brother because because we had that meeting.
Okay.
Andreas has met
All of
him.
you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
we
all
know
All of
that.
you know that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Danny.
Oh no, I was just gonna say all of them know that
Okay.
because you kind of introduced him to
I
everybody.
did.
Before
I
you-
did.
Yeah, I
was
remember
very.
that.
I was
That
very
was
excited that night. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Then very quietly, in Besson, I'm going to tell you. And she is my mother. So
Uh, quietly
it's
back
all.
and go. Do you
I'm
want
sorry.
the others? Do you want the others to know?
Not yet.
Andreas will just nod at that.
And I will stand back up and go back to listening to Gianni.
Um,
Yeah. So the captain is saying, she listens to Gianni and she says, "Well, it certainly seems like we will need each other to accomplish this. Do
most
we
definitely,
have
Captain.
any other resources? Any other ships?"
It is currently being currently there is another ship that is been tracking the Whisper. Uh, one by the name of the Pot of Gold.
Oh, yeah, Kiara O'Connell.
Yes, Captain O'Connell.
I do you. Where had you come from when you were tracking Silent Death? Were you close?
Um, I'm not exactly sure. We had some means of and informants that were letting us know if they passed through a port or if a ship passed by them. We have ways of being signaled about that sort of thing, but I can't say that we were extremely close to catching up. Though I know we were on their trail, and we had gone up in the waters near Castile, heading for the Sarmatian Commonwealth,
Mm.
but didn't make it that far when we ran into some storms.
Yeah, we have a way to at least. We have a couple methods as well to to track them, but yes, the pot of gold is one of them. I also I have an item that helps us track the pot of gold, which helps us track Silent Death.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes it a little bit more clear.
Mm-hmm. So Captain O'Connell is currently following the whisper.
Yes. Would you be interested in us sailing close together, or would you rather track it through your own means? And as I said, just through the use of perhaps your Porte Mage, just passing along information.
I think that would probably be the best move, considering my ship is relatively smaller, and from what I understand, you still have to outfit your ship. Um,
Yeah, we are
I think
not
it might
ready.
be best to sail together and cover each other's weaknesses, so to speak, if we run into anybody.
Sure. Um, I will send a trusted runner to which dock are you on?
She'll tell you. She'll
Uh,
say it's, if you go down to this part of the dock, you will see the Sapphire Dawn.
B5.
yeah. I will send a trusted runner to retrieve whatever item your Forte Mage seems worthy as the connection between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind a porte image of our own marking your ship or some item of yours?
I think
Tomas
in the
has
sense
agreed
that
to
we're
come with us.
together, I think that would probably be for the benefit.
Uh, Tomas, you thinking?
Oh, of course, yes. It sounded like he wanted to come with us.
Oh, okay. Um, Andreas will. Tomas isn't in the room with us, is he?
Mm-mm.
I
No,
believe
it's just
he
you
is.
four and the captain. He's somewhere.
He's
You know what?
reading books with Charles.
He's reading books with dear Charles.
Tomas's books are upside down. Um, uh,
He was
uh,
never much
I
of a
know, right?
student.
He
No.
likes
uh,
picture bit.
so when I send the runner, I will make sure that they have an item for you.
Oh, thank you. Well, um, is
Um,
there anything else?
I have been told that there might be some things. Were you interested in anything other than what you were going to recover? Is your crew going to be annoyed if you don't also get some of the plunder?
Well, I would not say no to anything that Silent Death has. From what I understand, he is quite wealthy and if he's going after the Carnival. Then, then there will be all of the Tempest. The story goes that there was quite a bit of treasure and artifacts on the ship. So I would absolutely not say no. My crew would not say no to some of
Um,
that.
so I will have our purser write up a contract. I'm sure shares will be divided. We'll pass it back and forth and make sure your purser, my purser, and all of us are happy with the contract. And then, so just for plunder, that way everyone's happy. We don't worry about any mutinies.
She kind of pulls a face and she's like, pirates don't generally deal with contracts, but if that's the way you wish to do things.
Will remind that we have only been pirates very recently, so we have a lot to learn about the ways of your trade.
And about the
Well,
table,
We
pirates
will.
pirates
often
We will
love
and
find an
money.
We'll find an equitable agreement. We are not sure what the treasure contains or what Monsieur Silent Death has on among his possessions, but we have little interest in such things.
Mm. Well, considering pirates don't generally work together either, I think we're in unknown territory on several fronts. But these are special circumstances, from what I've been hearing and what I've been told.
Yes, very special. Was there anything else you needed to discuss that we can't message or figure out later?
No, I don't think so. I was very interested to hear the story and hear what was going on and hear the proposal. So it's been very enlightening, for sure.
How you say last night when we spoke, you said that you anticipated leaving tomorrow or later today,
Tomorrow, if we can manage it.
and that's pretty much what we're trying to do as well. I think if we can find if we can finish fitting the cannons and things like that that we do lack, um, but I don't think it should be a problem.
Hmm. Excellent. And she
Working out the
stands up.
ass to expedite.
Yes. Um, yeah, so she stands up in a very fluid motion. And she says, then I shall take my leave until we speak again. And you can tell she's being very formal and captainy and
Andreas
all of
will
that.
rise when she rises.
Oh,
Um,
if you'll all excuse me, I'm going to escort her to the door.
Of course.
And I say thanks in Besson to the captain and to Andreas, and
yeah.
I walk
And
her out.
Andreas nods in understanding. And
Uh-huh.
then he looks to Nanette with a look of "I am so sorry," realizing that since we're expediting, it's going to cost so much more.
Oh,
Yeah.
you love
The,
spending my money. It's
the count
fine.
the count is
I
also
want it.
our benefactor, though, right? I mean, he's supplying some stuff, right?
Right.
Yes, he's also a
Mm-hmm.
benefactor to help out Fitch's ship.
Yeah. Because he wants his map back.
Mm-hmm.
So. All this for a map. Robert is beside himself. He's like, do you know how much money we're paying so you can get this map back?
With any luck, he'll get the whisper as well.
Yeah, with any luck. Okay. So, yeah, Ace, you walk out with Captain
Mhm.
Stormer.
I will make sure to pull the door closed when we step out, and as we are walking, I will say kind of quietly because I don't know who's listening or how much she wants spread around. But as we're walking, I will say I apologize. I didn't know if it was appropriate to reveal our relationship as you and I have only just met.
I understand. I'm glad that you asked to escort me out because I was going to do the same thing, but you beat me to it.
I tend to be hasty in most things. If I may, how did you find out about Kaya on the ship? I also know that he's there.
Well, we have our sources, but I'm also in contact with your uncle, who has kept tabs on Kaya all these years. And Kaya was not, he informed him of what he was planning to do. And that was the first whiff that I got of and word from him. He was intended to stay safe there until I could recover what else had been taken from me. But when I found out that Kaya had left, then I took it upon myself to go and search for him again, as I had done before.
I'm going to tell you this, and it's not too far out of line of what was said in the meeting. But we did learn that, as Gianni had mentioned, with Silent Death being a Fate Witch, perhaps, and being in full possession of the Tempest's bracers, that he's using his crew to power some of these storms. And it makes me feel like time is even more of the essence, because I don't know what that means for Kaya.
I see.
But know that our goal is to get him off that ship as well. I actually tried once already to get him to leave the crew, and he would not. But I can
Well,
talk to
from
him.
what I understand from your uncle, he can be impetuous. I have no idea where he got that from. She smirks.
You must have very strong genes. But I have talked to him recently, within the last week, and he was okay then. But and while we were in the meeting, I think he touched his mark.
I have similar with your uncle, my brother.
Yeah, someday I would really like to talk about that. Nobody
Well,
has
I
ever
don't know
known
how
anything
much I
about
can. I don't know how much I can specifically can help you. Your uncle knows a lot more about this sort of thing than I do.
Well, someday, should this shake out, all right, I would very much like to meet him.
Of course. Of
Thank
course.
you.
And I
Go ahead.
she says, and I would like to have a talk with you as well. We know that time is of the essence, so I don't think we have the time for the type of conversations we would probably like to have. But just know I would definitely like to have them. I'm sure you have questions, and I have questions of you as well.
I do have questions, and I probably have some answers. But you're right. Now is not appropriate. And I'm not really in a good place to have those discussions right now.
And I'm sure your
I
brother
want
would
to.
want to be involved in some of these discussions as well. So,
I absolutely believe so. If I may ask, are you? May I tell him that I have connected with you?
yes, of course, please do. And I will let your uncle know, if I can,
Please
that
do.
I have met you.
We're all here.
Somehow fate has brought us together, as perhaps your Vodachi friend might say.
Yeah. 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 I thought he was full of shit for a long time, but he seems to be. He seems to have a better handle on it than I do sometimes. But thank you for coming, and I know we are a bunch of kids that don't know what the fuck we're getting into, but we really don't have a choice anymore. Things were set in motion that we cannot stop.
I'm given to understand that you already know one of my crew.
I grew up with one of your crew, yeah. Yeah, her younger brother is a very good friend of mine, and she was too. Did you talk to Fiona last night?
I did. I did.
I don't want to ask, but I do want to ask. What did she say about me?
Well, let's just say it wasn't things she wanted to tell me, but I was able to get out of her. And because of what she told me, I did not tell her how I knew you. But
Thank you.
she is. Once she told me, I figured that was the way you wanted it to be. You would want it to be. And she is no longer on my crew. I don't abide people who do those sorts of things on my crew. and she had kept those things hidden from me for quite a while.
Uh, I appreciate that a lot. I'm not sorry, but yeah, she
I'm
doesn't.
not either.
She doesn't.
Between you and me, she was quite a problem, honestly.
I can believe that. She's been a problem for a long time.
Very fierce, but
I'm sure she was very good at what she did for you. Else she wouldn't have been on your crew. But no, her our relationship, for lack of a better word, is not at a place anymore where she deserves to know anything about the people that are important to me. And so I do appreciate that you kept that.
of course, it's the least I can do.
Do you? I don't know. I'm kind of in my own head about some stuff, but do you think that she's going to be a problem for what we're trying to do?
I don't think so. She is one person, and I have a full crew. She was not exactly popular amongst some of them, as you can imagine. And I don't imagine with her personality she'll be able to get a bunch of allies that would be able to do anything significant.
I would hope not. At least not for long. She's never been loyal for. She's never been able to stay loyal for very long.
She somehow thought that that would please me somehow, but she was
must
quite
not
wrong
understand
about that.
pirates either. Well, thank you for coming, and I have some things I need to get done today too, as I'm sure you do. But may I call you Mom?
Of course. Of course. I'd love that.
Can I give you a hug before you go?
Of course. I didn't know if you wanted to with here.
I don't care.
But of course, and she'll open her arms and she'll hug you and she'll stroke your hair and all of that. And you see a lot of your brother in her, obviously.
Yeah.
His coloring and face and
Absolutely.
and all of that.
After the hug, Ace is like, I clearly did not take after the prettier side of the family, but I'm gonna have to take that up with Dad.
We'll have a discussion about your father's looks later.
All right. Well, I'm sure I'll see you soon. Have a good day.
And she gives you like a last hand squeeze and walks off the estate. And yeah, so meanwhile, are you three doing anything while Ace is doing tough Ace, tough,
Yeah.
suck it up, get back in there, Tyr, get back in there.
You got time to cry.
Get down to cry.
Feelings in the box. Feelings down. No.
Never
Down.
again. Never again.
You three, Ace has gone to escort Captain Stormrider out of the estate, and you three are left in the room. So, yeah.
Okay. So that's 2 ships, right?
3.
3 now.
3 ships.
And if all
Three.
goes according to
Sapphire
plan,
Dawn,
maybe
and
4.
Belladonna.
Do we feel pretty confident with that?
I don't hate those odds.
This is a man who can control the weather.
He is
Even the best
competition now.
ships may not fare well.
So,
Gianni. So, I mean, knowing now that you like how the bracers work, how the Tempest use the bracers, using fate lines to power from other people. You know it's not going to be a pretty picture, but yes, he can create storms, but he can only do it insofar as he has fate lines available to him. So at a certain point, I mean, it's not a pretty picture because then that would mean whoever he's using would be gone. But it's not like he is omnipotent, right? There are limits to how much he can pull.
And we think that his crew has to allow him.
You're not sure at that point. I mean, you would think, but in general, sorte mages don't in general need to ask. I mean, they manipulate lines all the time without asking permission. I mean, you do because you're Gianni and you're a nice guy, but you know that's not the case for some fate witches.
Now that
As
I've
far as
seen
I
her, I feel
understand,
really
permission
bad
is
for
not
Holly.
necessary for the ability, from what I understand.
I'm going to go grab 2 wine goblets, and I'm going to try, based on what I've seen, Silent Death do. You know, as far as weaving lines and other things. You know, he made that spider web over the ship and everything else.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
Andreas
Okay,
sees him
cool.
grabbing the 2 wine glasses. Go, this early?
Uh,
Oh
I mean, we
man.
just got done with breakfast and we had a.
I want to try something.
Are we? Is this? I mean, we're busy. Otherwise, I'd be down for the day drinking.
I want to try something. And I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
literally going.
Give me one.
Okay.
Just second
Just give me 1 second. Just one
Okay.
second. Nanette, you were saying something, and I want to kind of hear what you had to say before
I
I
was
went
just
to
being
John.
snarky.
We're being snarky
I was just
over
being
here.
snarky about.
The 2 of us
yeah.
are being catty about the day drinking. That's it. That is 100% what's
Yeah.
happening.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Nanette was being snarky. He's like, "Oh, poor Holly. That explains so much."
Mm-hmm.
Not
Okay.
understanding the familial connection or anything that's going on. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to get her something nice."
Okay. So, Gianni,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna try to manipulate some fate lines.
Yes.
And you are going to attempt to recreate the kind of netting that he had over his ship.
Kind of.
Or are you going to try to do something else?
So I know that you can change the lines, or at least move them a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
anchor them.
Right.
I want to wrap one around one wine glass. Like, I'm actually going to say, Nanette, can you stay here for a moment? I want to try something.
All right.
I'm going to take the fate line between me and her, wrap it around the goblet on one side, and set it over in front of her. And then I'm going to walk quite a ways away, wrap the line around the goblet on the other end. You know, so one's going to be over by her, one's going to be over by me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll spend a hero point if I need to, since that's usually what I have to do for any form of, sorte and messing with fate lines.
Yeah.
And then I would
go
like to
ahead
try
and-
to talk into it and see if she can hear it coming out the other end.
That's kind of cool.
You're kind of making like a walkie-talkie through fate lines.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you spend your fate line to start manipulating, but this isn't anything that you have done before or tried. You didn't even know that sorte could do these sorts of things.
Yeah.
In all honesty. So I'm also gonna have you roll. You're spending the hero point to deal with your sorcery, but I'm gonna have you roll your is he going about this like a puzzle? Is he trying to like burst his way through it? How like what kind of like is he gonna be doing kind of more of a resolve or a wits trying to figure it out?
Or the wits,
like
kind of figuring it out. You know,
okay.
it makes sense. We're applying a physical idea to a metaphysical object, and we're
Right.
trying to do
Makes
it with another one. Yeah.
Right. So whips and your sortie,
All right.
sortie. Roll that. It'll be 10 successes, and tell me how many successes you get, and I will give you information about what happens.
All right.
10 success.
Wow.
You want to use something?
Well, I mean, tens are. He's looking for tens.
Oh,
Is what I
Yeah,
mean.
okay.
Sorry, I thought you meant
Yeah,
he
he's
needed
looking
10
for
races.
10.
I was like, Christ
No,
almighty.
no.
Profits taint. What the fuck?
I mean, I could give you together we are strong, try to pour some successes in there, but that's it.
That's actually where fate lines come from.
Is the profits
Profits
taint?
taint.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a
straighten
little
those
known
straighten those hairs.
It's a
There's
little
a new
known
language I
secret.
did not need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rue
Yeah.
started it. I'm
I
just
did.
finishing it.
Mhm. It's my job.
Oh.
Right, we're now calling fate lines profits pubes. That's it.
Oh my
That's-
gosh.
That's what the art in the corner on the front of the book that you describe is now. It's just some little curly hairs.
Ew. Oh.
All right, you
Oh.
guys. Calm down. Oh my gosh.
So while he's doing this,
Wow.
Andres is
So how many successes? Let's move on from that. How many successes? We have puffle teeth and faint pube hairs. I can't with this game. So
So 3 successes.
3?
3 successes.
All
Yeah,
right.
with 1 left over. Oh.
Okay. You can't talk to her through it, wrapping the fate lines around. But the first thing you realize is that actually trying this and doing this and having seen Silent Death's lines that he created or used, there is a sort of parasitical relationship that you can feel happening between the two goblets. If something happens to one, you kind of suspect something would happen to the other. And that's what he's been using but he's been using people's fate lines. So he's been kind of, when you realize how he's using it, which is something, and remembering your lessons, it's sort of like you've just been warned away from doing that sort of thing. And you kind of never really considered it before. But for someone who kind of really has nothing to lose, they kind of experimented, and now you're seeing how that works. So if you were to, let's say, break that glass, break that goblet with the fate line still attached, it would break. The other would break.
Gianni will actually try that. He'll actually drop the glass on the floor and see what happens to the other one.
In your hand, Nanette, you have the other glass.
Oh.
I'm assuming.
I'm hoping it's on the table.
Oh, okay. You're on the table. So if you break the glass, break the goblet or whatever, the other one crumbles as well.
That's very
Okay.
disconcerting, Gianni.
I am okay.
I've seen some weird stuff.
I was trying to figure out a way for more instantaneous kind of messaging. So I tried this trick to put a fate line between the 2 cups.
Oh, by the way, Ace, when this is going on, you're coming back. If you go back to the lounge room after seeing your mom off.
And I was like, okay, maybe I can. Have you ever had one of those thread telephones? Me and my friends played with it at the orphanage all the time.
What about
Between 2 cups, you run a thread, but it has to be pulled tight.
Wait, what about And Andreas will look through the lounge and see if there's like some stationery and a pencil or a pen and some ink.
Nanette has a pad of notepaper and a quill on her anyway.
And he'll put one in front of Nanette and he'll take the other one with the quill over to Gianni. What about this?
Well, ultimately, whatever happens to one could happen to another.
Yes, try writing on that one and see if it comes across on this one.
That would be.
I'll give it a try.
I mean, I feel like that might be easier to impact at least one object over another versus sound.
It wasn't the idea. I mean, silent death could literally weave a web, like a spider's web, over his ship to know if anybody was getting on it. And so that's what gave me this idea is, maybe something a little bit simpler, something I could do.
Maybe he was simply using all of his crew as anchor points, and then if anybody that was not his crew tugged on the bait line, he would know. Kind of like a spider, you know?
But
That makes a lot of sense to you, Gianni. That would make a lot of
Yeah.
sense. You just the big surprise here is you didn't know fate lines could be used in like that. Like the effects of twisting them, you can pull someone to you, you can, kind of change things and move things around a little bit, but to be able to affect this way, you didn't know that it could be like that.
it's interesting. But we try, but it is very taxing. What
If you
I did
need
with
to,
that goblet?
Yeah. And you are, now that you're kind of, both of you were kind of focused on it, but you used both your lines, the line between Nanette and Gianni, and you do feel like bruised, kind of like that wasn't pleasant. Like, I mean, it wasn't bad, like you didn't shatter like the glass did, but you felt it, like you felt that happen.
Well, at least it's good thing to study. But there's got to be a way to do it without a negative effect. Eh, I'll keep working on it.
I'm sure there's something we can do. Some untapped source of power that you can leverage, or perhaps even some other ways to maybe find objects that resonate with you, or I feel like using our own lives may be tricky and our own
Yes.
fate lines.
But it's something that is always there. Objects don't always have permanence over time. Relationships do, to some extent. Uh, yeah. And it would have to be somebody you would know you're going to see again. Objects, something that's not a guarantee.
What if it's an object that is marked? The mark creates sort of an essence of a porte mage.
I've never even looked at that. Why have I never looked at that? Who has a marked object?
me, Andreas holds up his arm.
And
I may not recommend a major mark. It might be
You have one, Gianni.
kind of as painful as the last one.
I thought all the marks went away after that
No.
weird event.
These are
No,
new.
no, these are
Marked
fresh
you.
ones.
Oh,
Yeah, she marked something for everybody.
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, the previous marks went away before Sharu's, but no. I think it would be better. Maybe try taking off your prophet's cross, or whatever she marked. I think it was his rosary beads or something.
It was something you marked Angelina's Prophet's Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the oh shit Prophet's Cross.
But everybody has something,
Oh.
because I know Nanette.
You do have something, Gianni, that she marked.
Right. I'll look at that.
Okay.
Look at the fate lines for that.
Okay. You definitely see it going between the object and Nanette. Like, that's her mark. So you can see it
Okay.
going to her. Which,
So I definitely,
Yeah.
definitely see the fate tied to it. But wouldn't it, whatever disturbed it, would still have an interaction with you? It's really, I'm not doing anything that you wouldn't already know. If I started messing with the object.
Well, let us think on it. There's so much to do today, and
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some way.
you worry about
There's
the ships.
magic in the
getting
blood.
yeah.
all right. So it is fairly still relatively early, early, decent hour of the morning. Not dawn, maybe like 8, 9 o'clock, something like that. And you all four are there. Ace has come back from the room. Ace probably heard quite a bit of that conversation when she came back. So, what are the four of you gonna head out and do now?
So I was hoping to speak with Nanette while Johnny was messing with things, but so Nanette, can you write up a charter?
It's on my list of things to do today, yes.
If
My
you want, I
progressively getting longer list, yes.
if you would like, I can go talk to the count about getting that what we need to complete our outfitting. So I will take that off of your table, off of your plate, so I can do that, and then I can go and find the new master at arms.
If it's a ship's charter, I think you should involve Keg. Maybe we can meet him in the morning and go over everything and put one together. But I'll work on an agreement with the Sapphire Dawn,
Mhm.
and I do want to supervise some of the, doing my job as a purser. Basically,
Yes.
I would like to make sure that whatever is being done by the Count's crew is being noted of, in case of any issues.
In which case, I will go talk to Keg about the charter if you want to just do the purser duties.
What are our tasks today? Do you have something you wish me to do?
I would like for you to oversee the loading, the crew getting into getting into their quarters, and then at some point during the day send Pip or Squeak over
Okay.
after getting a marked object from Tomas.
Okay. I can do that. Do you want me to head to the docks now? mean-
You'll at least start gathering the crew so they can start moving their things.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Johnny, is there anything you think you'd be well tasked at? Besides, of course, moving onto the boat.
I mean,
You want
y'all do
to-
have supplies and provisions to get.
Supplies, provisions
So-
for you, but you want the crew. I get the word out.
How much more crew do we need? It was like dozens, right?
I know the count is providing about a third of the crew.
Okay, so we
So-
had 30 on the Fortuna, was my
Mhm.
estimate. 15 and
Mhm.
15.
Okay.
Plus us. And Charles and Thomas, but they're not technically going to do anything, probably. No offense to them, but I doubt that they're going to. I doubt that they're going to like help with the sales and stuff. They've got fine hands and need to keep them that way.
So
Look,
can
they're
we,
the crew's mascots.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm
they are definitely important as moral support, but
I will assume that the count is then probably providing another 30 for
okay,
his
so we
ship.
need
Okay.
30 more probably.
The crew for a frigate of the size that you have is 200
Jesus.
normally.
So
That's
we need
maximum compliment. It can run
Okay.
on less.
Yeah.
We are really
That's
like
how much they can handle. But you
yeah.
We
obviously can
don't
run
need
on.
200, but
We
30
really
would be
are.
nice.
Well, in which case the count's probably providing closer to 60 or 70. If he's providing a third of the crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that puts us on
So
100. If we count
yeah.
them.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, you're good. This is discussion. You know more than I do right now.
Well, no, I was just thinking that if we provide 30 that we already have, that we've already got agreed to work, plus us, plus let's say the count does give 70, so that
Mhm.
takes us to 100. I don't know if we want a full 200. If we don't, it's probably not going to be hard to scrape up 50 people. Uh, if you want to try to go with 150,
That
it
might
would
be the best.
provide a little bit more room to breathe and help with morale, especially on the shortened timeline that we have to travel.
I was gonna say we're already. Most people are already going to be in hammocks.
Right.
Getting provisions for 200 over like 100 is also going to be trickier in the shortened time frame that we have.
Right. So if we could keep it between, I think, 130 and 150, I think we'd be okay. If everybody's in agreement with that, I think I could find us 30 to 50 people today.
As well as the Marines that we're looking for.
Exactly. If
Yeah,
you find,
I mean, it's like Albuca, so I mean, there's always people going in and out. Like, hey, sign on to this ship and go off and all that. So it wouldn't be hard
right,
to recruit people.
I've recruited people before. It's not, um, especially for journeys. We can, if we're just looking for people to go for the duration, and we'll be a little upfront with what we're doing. May not specific, but we'll at least say that it is,
Dangerous.
or it's dangerous out there, and we gotta sail the high seas and for plunder and bounty and whatever the fuck people
I'll in
respond
which
to.
case I'll probably spend the morning
Fortune
working
and
up.
glory, kid.
Fortune
Fortune
and
and
glory, lads. Fortune
which
and
case,
glory.
I think
I'm get
Gianni should do that too.
yeah.
He's very good with his words.
He
He's
very
very
much is.
likable.
No, he
So I
is
think
far more likable than I.
I'll probably spend the morning then
I
working up
wasn't
the
saying it.
charter with Keg. That way it's ready for people to sign. That way they know what they're getting into, what they'll get paid.
Mhm.
Because nothing keeps people happier than knowing that they will get paid.
They'll get paid a flat wage no matter what happens, and they will get, I guess, dental. And
Shares.
that's throwing in like full health care, just
Okay.
dental.
Well, if you're going to go talk to you said you were going to talk to the Count, though, also, right? About his people, Captain?
I was going to. I didn't know if
Do you want me to just go talk to Keg? We can send him and Gianni to start recruiting crew if we have an idea of what we're going to offer.
I mean equal share.
Okay. Keg is fantastic at that. He's good at that delegation. And then I can go talk to him and tell him what we're doing. Round up the rest of the crew, get them starting to move on to the boat, and I have an errand I have to run, unfortunately, but it won't be.
Understood.
It's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
And that'll take some stuff off your plate.
Of course.
All right. Cool. Okay. So, so let me just so I get everybody's plan. From what I understand right now, Gianni and Keg are going to go try to recruit people. About 30 to 50 more. Somewhere in there. Rue, you're going to go
I'm gonna go get Keg with Gianni.
Right, okay.
And then go
and then yeah, and then Andreas, you're going to talk to the Count.
Yes,
Right.
so we can secure his men as well as he also probably knows the people better. So I'm looking for good, loyal Marines, and he's probably going to be the best person to talk to about that. They are going to be the best person to talk to about that.
Okay. And then Nanette, you are drafting
Probably gonna
things?
meet. Yeah, probably gonna meet with Robert and commiserate about spending habits of the people we work for. and just make sure everything is in, all the line items are correct and everything is right. And just get all that done. And if there's time left, she'd like to talk to Monsieur Antoine if he's about, but if not, then just kind of finalize that. Hey, my brother needs a teacher, so.
Okay, all right. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead. Ace and Gianni, you go and find Keg. And he was on the Fortuna, helping to get that cleared up and set up and everything, prepared so that it could be moved to where the Count was going to want it. I'm assuming, you tell him what's up and that you guys are moving to the Belladonna and that you need him to recruit people.
And I assume, like, the Count has already sent men down to the Fortuna to do whatever he wants to do with it. So Keg was just kind of in a holding pattern with the other 14 crewmen from the...
Right. And you can tell that they're the Count's people because they're wearing, like, the Montaigne colors. So you can tell the difference, obviously. Cool. Yeah. So, Gianni, I don't think I want to, like, belabor it too much, but you can go ahead and describe, how are you recruiting people? Like, how are you going to try to recruit people to the ship?
I am going to put on a show. I'm going to be going to the tavern and having drinks, being a little bit boisterous, maybe buy drinks for a few people around me.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, Gianni is like, look at us here. Yeah. We didn't choose this life. To just sit around and scrape and maybe get a beer ever so often. Eh? Who here did that? Who's here is like, beer, great. For the rest of my life, beer. I'll die it. Just bury me a barrel down on the beach. The crabs will take care of it, right? None of us want that. We wanted adventure, glory, and riches, right? So, I hear there's a ship hiring. I'm gonna be going there. Hey, come on. Who here wants to waste away rotting teeth, rotting bones? Or who here wants to risk it all for riches?
Indeed. All right, so let's do a roll here. Let's see. Let's do obviously this is well, you can pick which panache or finesse. Panache is usually for the style, or the wits you could use as well, panache or wits. And then convince.
All right.
Just tell me how many successes you get. I think that's how we're gonna go, because you're saying this stuff, so let's see like how well this goes over.
All right. So I'm trying to get through here really quick. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Nice. That's good. So yeah, you're giving your speech, and then people are like, somebody starts a chant, and it's like, riches, 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 and they're getting all worked up, and now you need to direct them somehow, because you've got them worked up. So now you need to tell them what to do. Where do they need to go? What do they need to be? Who do they need to see?
Go seek out the Belladonna. That's where I'm going. It's this way.
I'm gonna lead. Yeah. So you got practically the whole, and the barkeep is over there like, my glasses, and like people are just streaming out with the glasses, just like, riches, 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 and Keg's just watching this whole thing, like.
Hey bartender, I remember my first night here still.
Oh, he gives you a dirty, dirty, dirty look. Dirty,
the
dirty,
fact you
dirty
stole
look.
all the patrons from that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, the barkeep just like gives you like a dirty ass look as he's like trying to convince people to like leave their glasses and stuff. You know. and yeah, you're gonna lead them down to the belladonna. Okay. All right. Cool. So after you get Keg with Gianni, where is Ace going?
She did.
And send them on.
She did say that she was gonna try to see Holly before we left.
Okay. Yeah. She explained where she lived, so you can definitely find that
Okay.
pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, I was already headed down to the docks anyway. I figured it was near there.
Yeah, you hear some distant chanting somewhere, like behind you as you're getting, but can't quite make it out yet.
Is there a football game? The hell?
It's kind of I mean, somebody's riled up about something. It sounds like a whole bunch. I mean, Labuca's rowdy, but this is like concentrated rowdy.
This is hooligan level. I'm.
It's
time to get
somewhere
inside
over
soon.
there.
Vinnie Jones is leading a crowd of people just heading to the belladonna.
Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna go and knock on the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Door opens, and you can tell this is Luna, because I mean Ms. Holly just stands a different way most of the time. So you're pretty clear, and especially when she goes, "Oh, you're Ace, aren't you?"
Can I roll an empathy on that to see if that's disdainful or if it was just acknowledgement?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Sweet.
roll wits and empathy.
1, 2, 3.
Do you need to?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I got 3 successes with 1 left over.
Oh, that's
3
different.
raises.
Yeah, it's not disdainful. It's oh, you're here. I've heard things.
Okay.
like
Okay, it's acknowledgement more than like, oh,
yeah.
You're the one I haven't met yet.
Get the
Yeah, I
hell
didn't know.
out, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was how dare you fucking upset my sister, you big dumb oaf.
Yeah.
That's how I answered the door for my sister's friends. So in real life, and I'm pretty intimidating. God damn it. No, but
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, you're tall, so you got that height going for you, just to loom over whoever it is. And
Yeah.
she's kind of looking at you, like,
yeah. My name is Ace. And you are?
I'm Luna. And
Luna.
they're identical, so I mean, you had heard from Nanette, like, Luna, and
I
mean,
remember
kinda had
Andreas and
heard it
Nanette being
differently.
quite stunned about how identical they were, and that, yeah, it was an interesting day. I offer my hand. It's wonderful to meet you. My colleagues speak highly of you.
Oh, well, that's nice to hear.
I was just
Holly
wondering.
is-
Yeah, that's who I was here.
She's like, I'm sure you're here for Holly. She's in the living room.
Thank you, and I will step aside or step in.
Yeah, she
I'll
lets
take
you
that as an
in.
invitation, take my hat off, and hold it in front of me.
She lets you in, and she shuts the door, and she just is kind of like, I'll leave you to it. and she kind of goes off into another room, and you can see it's kind of open, so you can see the living room kind of through the thing. It's kind of open, like a little kitchen area that you walked in, and then like a little living room area, and you can
Does it
see
look like they're packing?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much here, but there are, some a trunk,
Okay.
that they're preparing,
Okay.
um, or had been, at the very least. And
Okay.
Holly is in there. You can see her in there, and it looks like she's putting stuff in the trunk.
Okay.
Um,
Then I will kind of if it's open to the living room, I'm sure there's like a
mhm.
doorway or something, and then I can knock
Yeah,
on the
you can.
wall.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll,
yeah,
hey,
yeah. Doctor. She looks up. Uh, oh, Ace. Hi.
hi. I said I'd come by. Sorry, I
I'm
couldn't
glad you
talk
did.
earlier. Do you need
Do
a
you want
hand?
to sit down?
Sure.
I. You guys are both kind of like, sit down. Do you want me to help you? It's kind of
Yeah,
this,
yeah. It's
this.
it's
This
awkward and bumbling and uh,
yeah.
um, yeah. I would love to sit if you need me to help.
Oh, I
Is she
should
put
probably
like
take a break anyway.
okay? Yeah, I won't keep you. I know that you have a lot to do today. I guess I kind of do too, but this was important. So I really don't know where to start. How are you? Are you okay? Doing well?
I'm, I'm better. Yes. Uh, it was nice talking to you yesterday, and I appreciate your apology. I do.
Yeah,
I mean it.
go on.
My sister has informed me that you might be due an apology too. I'm sorry if I read more into what was happening than you did.
That's not your
I
fault.
shouldn't have put expectations on you.
That's not your fault. That's my fault. I I just know that you at the very least did not deserve the reaction that I gave you last night. I was heading somewhere and it was just it was important to me, and but I could have been nicer. I could have been far kinder, and kind is not my strong suit. Um, but and honestly, I was very surprised to see you, and not in a bad way. I just didn't know. I had intended to come and see you before we left town. I did not anticipate you showing up at the estate, and I definitely was not prepared. And it has been made clear to me that there was no reason for it to be made clear to me that you were being that you had been hired, and so that was me. That was my fuck up. So and you didn't need that. So I am sorry about it. I'm glad that you're coming with us.
It'll be our first time really out of this island, honestly.
It's a big, beautiful world out there. It's gonna suck for a little while. I wish I could say it in a better way. There's a lot of shit that we're kind of in the middle of right now. I hope that was made clear to you and your sister.
Well, I mean, it's not like our life here has been idyllic, you know.
I'm sorry to hear that. But we will do what I mean, Nanette, is gonna take care of you both. Absolutely. I hope you know that. Not sorry. It's gonna be ugly, but maybe I find myself saying this a lot lately, but if things shake out okay, you know, if you stay on the boat, and you find that you like being on the boat, sure I can show you some of the nicer, more idyllic places. The world is nice.
I think I'd like that. Let's just consider it in the past with things going on. How about that?
That works.
Is that okay?
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it'll be good. I'm gonna be helping the crew get situated today, so I'm sure that I'll see you at the boat. What is she packing right now?
It looks like clothes. They brought out clothes. And have started putting them in trunks and stuff. You see, like,
Is there like a handkerchief?
yeah.
While we're talking throughout the conversation, I will, like, I'm sorry, can I borrow that? I don't have one on me.
Yeah, and she'll hand you. I mean, it's not like high quality. It's not silk or anything, but it's a hand.
No, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. I am going to, with intent, remove the mark on my gun.
Oh.
And apologize that, sorry, this has been kind of bugging me today, and sometimes I can't get my thoughts together if I don't do what I can. I'll get this cleaned and get it back to you.
Oh, I mean, no need. We have a bunch of them. If you need one, they're useful to us.
Right.
And but,
I'll tuck it in my coat pocket. And but I mean, if you need help, I've got some time before I have to be at the docks. But I've gotta go get the boat looking good.
yeah, sure. Yeah, and you're pretty close to it from where you are here. So I mean, it wouldn't take you like a few minutes to get where it is. I mean, you can practically see it out their window.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you can help them for a little bit, and it's you know, you kind of get the that Holly is like, okay, this was, meeting somebody new, and we're just gonna kind of,
start fresh.
Yeah, and that's kind of her, and so as she's talking, she's like, oh, like, we got this, and she'll kind of tell you a little bit about some of the clothes and stuff until you have to go to the dock, just hanging out, and eventually Luna kind of pokes her head out and is like, you kind of notice her poke her head out, like, is it safe out here? And then kind of thing. And she comes out, and when she sees you guys, and then she'll come out, and you can talk with the both of them. And it becomes a lot easier to spot that when you see them together. Like, you kind of knew because of the way she was saying that wasn't Holly, and you kind of put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Luna is a lot more charismatic. I mean, Holly's charismatic, but Luna, that's like her bread and butter.
Right. So
that's what she does. She's a lot more gregarious. She's a lot more... Holly tends to be just a little bit more serious. Their pitches of their voices are a little bit different. Luna tends to, a little bit higher register and all of that, and kind of weave some huskiness in there from long years of having to, all of that. But yeah, so that's,
absolutely.
You can do that until you go to the...
and before I leave to go to the docks, I'll just tell them both, I'll be right out here. If there is anything that you do decide that you don't have that you need to bring with you, please let me know. I'll make sure that Nanette knows. And we'll see you on the ship.
Thank you, Ace. Thank you. And Holly will see you off out the door. And we will move on to Andreas. Andreas, you are going to talk to the Count, right?
Yes, Andreas will inform one of the house servants that he would like to have an audience with or speak with the count about the upcoming voyage.
Sure. So, yeah, you're there, and after a little bit, the staff member comes back and he leads you uh onto to in the estate to a room, and he opens the door, and Robert's there standing in the corner, and this is looks like some sort of like tailor shop almost. Like there's fabrics everywhere, and this place has mirrors all over the place in this room, like so you can like see how you look. It's got like a pedestal in the middle so you can stand up and like get clothes done and all of that sort of stuff. And and that's what the count is doing. He is standing on that little pedestal, and he has got some rich uh blue fabric. Looks very extremely nice quality fabric. It's kind of being draped over him, and Robert's kind of in the corner, with it with his ubiquitous, parchment and all of that, and notebook that he has, and he's kind of standing in the corner, and there's a tailor, young, not too old gentleman. That's a tailor who's by the count, like with a tape measure and stuff like that. Um, and the count sees you when the staff says, Captain Andreas Karras, Your Grace. And the count turns around, and you see the tailor person like cut, and like pulling a pin out as the count to move around, like what crap, as the count turns around to like greet you. And he's like, Captain Karras, I should say now, correct?
Yes. Good morning. I believe it's still it's still morning.
It is. This is a little bit early for me, but I wanted to have something ready to see you off in the ship.
Oh, may I? And Andreas will step forward and like
Yeah.
feel the fabric. Always the merchant.
Yeah. It is really it's really choice. He might have gotten it from like the Crescent Empire or something like that. It's like silk and really extremely nice.
Oof.
He paid a pretty penny or paid someone to get it for him, one or the damn other. So
Yeah, this is very high quality fabric, but nothing compared to getting a good Assyrian fur.
Yes. Robert, do we have that on our list? A Usurian fur of some kind? And Robert looks at you like daggers, like really? Like almost like it's just this
I
look.
mean,
His face
I
doesn't-
may know a
it's the
perfect
look.
source of reasonably priced, high quality Assyrian furs.
Yes. Tell Robert all about that, and he can take care of it.
Of course.
And you kind of have to move because the tailor guy is trying to like come around.
And Andreas will take a step back to let them pass through. So, I know you're. So, as part of our agreement, you were providing about a third of the crew, I believe, for
Yes.
Protecting your investment. I believe was the term we were using.
Yes.
On top of that, when I did the inspection of the ship last night, I noticed that we were short cannon and small arms and food stores.
Well, it was meant to be a prize, of course, and I did not know whoever wanted what they would prefer to have done, so we just had it in a very unusual fashion for me, since this was not going to be completely intended to be my ship. We just did minimal and allowed whoever was going to be to give it their own personal touch, should they wish.
Oh, of course. Would I be able to ask you for the rest of the cannon?
Yes. I mean, you're going after the map, and you're taking care of some of my people. So that seems, and you've done such a wonderful job so far with the tasks that you have set before you. So I think we can afford some cannons. Robert, write down that you can get with Mr. Karras and Captain Karras and get him some cannons.
The cannon, shot,
Yeah.
all of those important things. I did ask Ms. Primavera to start working on getting together the stores, because at least some of it should be our responsibility.
Mm. Yes. Well, I'm
Uh,
sure Robert will keep me apprised of any purchases that are made.
I was curious, as you are possibly the most well-informed man on this island, would
He
you
sort of preens, he like stands up a little bit,
uh,
like.
and as is Andreas's thing, he is speaking absolutely fluent Montaigne to keep it in and to keep it in his the Count's natural language. I was looking to hire on some Marines, because pirates, sailors, are fantastic fighters, but sometimes you need a good fighting man to be able to board and really take it into the teeth of whoever you're going after. Do you know any that are trustworthy, or at least trustworthy to the point where if you pay them, they're not going to shift sides if someone offers them more money?
He ponders that for a second, and he jumps. He said, "Oh, be careful down there. I just got these stockings. Be careful." And it gives like the guy a dirty look, who's like still trying to, do his job. He says, "Well, if you're going to find any, people come in and out of Labuka all the time, and I generally am informed. Last intel I had, you might find some people like that over on the other side of the island. I mean, we have the town here itself, the island of Labuka, and this is sort of where people go, but they aren't always people who want to be a part of all of this, yet they need somewhere to go where they can get supplies. So you may be able to find somebody on the other side of the island. The military types usually tend to congregate over there if they do come here. I will warn you, though, if there are military Marines personnel, they probably are not anymore. At least not honorably discharged, anyway. People don't end up here having sterling reputations, might I say.
Do any of us?
Not that I'm aware of, and I've been here a great many years. And you think you hear Robert mutter like decades, like from somewhere, but it's just really quiet, just like decades,
Andreas's hearing isn't quite. Andreas's hearing and eyes aren't quite as good as Ace's, but he's not that bad off.
Yeah.
Of course. And I do thank you. Then I will make a journey over to the other side. And I believe, Robert, that Ms. Primavera was looking for you to make whatever final arrangements, those kind of things, for those. And
And Robert goes, "Well, at least everything will be in order."
oh yes,
Mostly.
We have an appointment. We're not savages.
Savages. Yes, I will discuss that with her then.
Oh, so thank you so much, Count. For your advice, as well as for the cannon and shot and other supplies. This outfit is starting to, I can see it taking shape. You are going to look absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you. And he like preens a little bit more. He says, "See, Robert, I told you that I should go with the blue. I always look good in blue. You said it should be white and blue. Look, see, Mr. Catter."
See, and if you had good Assyrian white fur, you could trim it in white fur.
Yeah, she wrote that down, didn't she, Robert? He's like, "Yeah, I wrote that." I wrote that down. And yeah, so yeah, you can take your leave. And,
And Andreas will excuse himself, knowing that Robert is just staring daggers into the back of his
Yeah,
head.
you feel it in the back of your head. Just he's staring at you, and as you like kind of close the door behind you to leave or whatever, you hear kind of like Robert going like, "Really, Your Grace? Like we're spending all this money?" Like you just kind of like hear him like start a conversation about y'all to the count, and as you walk off. So,
Oh, yeah. Andreas will
um,
then head towards the other side of the island.
sweet. Nanette, what were you doing?
I think she's probably gonna start with the assuming Monsieur Antoine is available, meet with him first, because the appointment with Robert is closer to lunch, and then they can just while away the rest of the afternoon with numbers and paperwork. It's gonna be thrilling.
Is that what they're calling it these days? Numbers and
I
paperwork?
wish it wasn't a euphemism. It's just going through lines
You wish it
of
was a
spreadsheets.
euphemism.
Look, they're both freaks in the sheets, but like Excel spreadsheets, not the other kind. Although I can't speak for Robert. He might actually.
They're the type to give each other like scores and feedback after with like spreadsheets and stuff.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
This is a bad wrong way to
We
get
have
out of my
KPI dashboards for our performance.
head. Okay,
Anyway.
yeah, so you can certainly find uh Monsieur Antoine. I mean, he's an old gentleman, a very old gentleman, so it's not surprising that he is somewhere, when you ask one of the staff members, "Oh, I was hoping to talk to Monsieur Antoine," etc., etc., etc. And one of the staff like goes and comes back. "Oh yeah, Mr. Antoine will see you," and takes you upstairs, actually up to the third floor, where you all like you had the collection room, like you had the base area where there was like the lounge area and all of that, and you had like the second floor, which is kind of where like you all's guest rooms were and the bath and stuff. But he takes you all the way up to the third floor. This looks like more like personal, like these are people who live here. This is like the private area of the estate. And it's much like all the others. And you're shown to a room. Huge door. I mean, these look very familiar. I mean, it's Montaigne. The door, ornate, all of that. It's just familiar. A whole place is like that. So, yes, this happened. Locks, and you hear the voice out. Into Montaigne, and the door opens, and you see Monsieur Antoine. He is sitting. And it's during the day. It's the morning. It's a little chilly, but it's not incredibly chilly. But he's like sitting, and he does have like a blanket, like a little blanket, and he has glasses, and he looks like he was reading when you knock on the door. I'm giving you a cute
God,
little
precious
man.
Porte Grandpa. He's so cute. Well, I do not want to take up too much of your time. Has Monsieur le Comte had an opportunity to inform you of the request I made of him?
Yes, you wish your brother,
That's
Mr.
correct.
Thomas, to have some
Yes.
instruction.
If you are amiable to that idea, I think he could learn a lot from you. And I'm assuming if the servant has left,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the servant staff left as soon as
Right.
they open the door, and then they shut the door. Yeah.
May I sit?
Oh, of course, of course. Forgive me for not getting up. I'm not as spry as I used to be.
No, please. I am imposing on you. I haven't been entirely truthful. The tutelage isn't just for my brother Tomas. It is also for me.
I see. And he kind of puts a mark like in the book that and he sets it down on the table, and then he takes off his glasses and sets them to the side. Now he's giving you his full attention. Um,
It I have difficulty speaking about it because I have kept it a secret for a very long time. But certain situations have forced me to not ignore what I can do. and I'm afraid I have very little control of things, and in perhaps rash moments of emergencies, have made some very poor decisions with the place between. And then she, like, it is like the dam bursting, and she just
Yeah, it is.
spills. It's like
Oh,
everything. It's like spaghetti on the floor, just a hot mess.
yeah.
Like he probably not get a word in. She's just like, and this is everything that happened. The only thing she doesn't mention is that Gianni is a sorte mage, but she mentions that there was a card that was brought through the place between that once belonged to a sorte mage
Okay.
and
Okay.
was imbued by something of the place between. And then she kind of explains what happened in Charus, and it's just like verbal diarrhea at that point.
Hmm. Well, he doesn't attempt to interrupt you. He just sits there and listen. He's got his little blanket and everything. And at some point in your rambling, he does pick up like a teapot that was there and pours some and hands it over to you. Um, while you're there, it smells very. It's some kind of chamomile, some very like
I'm
calming.
sure it's
Uh,
lovely.
yeah, you can't tell, but you
It's
think
probably not
maybe
poisoned,
it looks
so
nice. It looks nice. It's warm. The warmth is calming. So, there's
that
that.
part is nice.
Um, he says, "Well, you have sternly stepped onto the Porte scene with quite a splash, it seems."
Not my intention at all, I assure you. I would rather have never messed with it at all, but
And so
was
what are
given
you
little
most
opportunity to do.
concerned with at the moment? Have you postulated what you want him to help you with? Like if he had any
Mostly,
ideas or
yeah, she's going to bring up the latest of the bad deals that she has made. And she has some thoughts about how to look. I've given this a considerable amount of thought about how to best provide them what they have asked for, and this is my plan, which she feels to kind of a
outlines.
like an unnecessary excess. She's like, and this the selections and blah blah blah. It's like, is this the right course of action?
He sets
I
his own
can't just
cup
throw.
down and he says, well, he says, let me tell you about the in between. And with that, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll finish and hear what Monsieur Antoine has to say
You be fucked,
about
kid.
the in between.
Hmm.
So fucked.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you want to feed them trash? Watch how this goes.
So, do come back in 10 minutes.
There we go.
everybody. Hi. Welcome
I'll get a say
back.
somehow.
I love you.
So, our intro, welcome back to By Leaps and Bounties. We are in the second half of episode 6, Empire of Bones. And our heroes are preparing to head out. They're preparing to get the ship outfitted, and they've been talking to people they needed to talk to get that going. And the last thing was Ninette had gone to see Monsieur Antoine, the Count's Porte Mage, and has unloaded all of the things that she has done and the in-between to this old man.
We're practicing honesty now.
Oh,
His heart can't take it, and he just
With someone who literally doesn't matter.
Wow, rude. He's going to be with us so much as an adorable old grandma.
I certainly hope so, now that he knows all of your secrets.
Yeah, so he says, so they're sitting in his rooms. Ninette has had a seat. He is sitting there in his chair with his little blanket and, you know, his little glasses and book, and his tea are next to him and all that. Ninette has tea, and he says, I take it, let me tell you about the in-between. You mentioned, because I assume you went into all the I do not have senses anymore.
Yeah, she's unloaded basically everything.
Right, okay. He says, do you think that the in-between wants your sense of taste or smell?
Can't imagine they would do much with it.
Exactly. So what would be their purpose in taking things from someone like this? It's not like they're keeping it in a jar somewhere to take out and shake it like a bottle of fireflies. Why does the in-between take?
Because they can't get things over there? Or to deprive us?
In a way, in my experience, the in-between slowly wears down any principles, any morals that you may have had, compromising them a little bit at a time or a lot, depending on the desperation, until finally you have nothing. You have no feeling. You're apathetic. You are left bereft. That is what they take when they take. If you had had some sort of formal training, because I'm sure you told him you didn't have formal training, that was your brother. Your brother should have at least been taught this, but I get the impression your brother was not around when these things were happening. At least partially. And when you were attempting to save his life.
Yes, the first time he was not conscious. And the second he was recovering.
So I point this out because this is going to be your greatest defense as to what the in-between can do to you or will do to you. It's the worst thing that they can do. They take away your taste, so now you take no pleasure in food. They take away your smell, so you take no pleasure in perfume. And so you don't care. You don't stop caring about the little pleasures of life. You stop caring about those things. And over time, you start to care about less and less, especially if you give them more. So my advice to you, since you have already made this deal, you obviously, there's not really a way that you can get out of doing what you're promised. But if you wish to at least get more of yourself back, you need to remember that is what they want to take from you. So don't become apathetic, don't become complacent. Make sure you still care and hold on to your compassion and your idea of who you are. Because the more and more deals you make, the more and more they're going to chip away at you. And the more shell of a human being you will become.
After this deal has been completed, I'm gonna see if I can find a way to sever myself from them so they cannot take anything else from me.
Your best bet is to find something that you care about and hold on to it. And that's going to be your best chance to finding your way back and getting back what the in-between took from you. I can't tell you what that looks like. It looks different for everybody who has had to deal with these things. These are lessons that we hope young mages avoid because we warn them of them. But young people often get curious and often don't do things in the most rational way and don't listen to their elders when they should. Not that elders are correct all the time, but in this particular instance. So, if it brings you any comfort, at least know you are not the first person to make a bad deal with the in-between. You probably won't be the last either.
I don't know if that's much comfort, to be frank. I don't want anyone else to feel what I have felt. But thank you. I feel like I have much to learn from you, if you are willing, of course.
I can teach you and your brother of what I know, but I understand you're going to be leaving soon.
You are, of course, welcome to mark the ship to come and go as you please, if you can.
Let me think on this. But remember what I said. In order to get what you lost back, you're going to need to find something to hold on to. You're going to need to find something and to find a way back to yourself, the self that you had before.
I'll have to think on that. Oh. Thank you. This has been very informative, and I appreciate you listening.
I would also be aware, if you have not noticed yet, I see you have some mismatched shoes on your feet.
That is a complication as well.
It seems spreading without you noting, which is exactly how the in-between works. The idea of the frog in the hot pan, which is a myth, by the way, but it's still a good allegory to understand what I mean. You probably did not even notice, but your sense of taste, your sense of aesthetic, your sense of the things and deciding what you like and don't like slowly whittled away. Because when I saw you before, you certainly were a lot more put together. than you seem to be a parent.
Oh, well, admittedly, this is a bit of a ruse for now. This is temporary.
Well, just be aware. And you can send your brother to talk to me whenever you like.
Of course, thank you. Again, I appreciate you speaking with me and sharing your wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, so I assume Ninette's gonna take her leave at that
Yeah,
point.
politely leave. Cry a little bit, then go tell Tomas. Yeah.
Yeah, you get you see him put on his glasses and pick up his book as you leave the room. And you don't find Thomas in the room he's supposed to be in. He is hanging out in Charles's room. When you go knock on his door, nothing. So of course your next instinct.
Where else is he gonna be with Charlie?
Yeah.
Oh, Char.
She knocks
he
politely to give them time to get dressed if they need it, but
it's not gotten that far. But yeah, Charles opens the door, and Tomas is back there. He's like laying on the bed. He's like reading something, which Tomas isn't. It's not really his thing. You're always the reader, but he's literally sitting there reading a book when you come in.
Charles is a great influence on him. I'm sorry to interrupt. If you have a moment, Thomas, could you go speak with Monsieur Antoine? I'm hoping he can teach you some things before we leave.
Oh, portrait things?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, yes. Yeah, I can do that.
As you were.
As you were. Don't let me interrupt. Shut the door. Okay. Mama, Papa, Thomas was reading.
You will never believe this.
They never believe you.
If Nanette had a smartphone, it would have been like. All right, so okay, what is everybody? We have Gianni leading the group to the ship, and you are there, Ace, and you hear this chanting getting closer and closer, and it starts to you start to hear riches, 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 and you see this group coming around down towards the docks, and eventually you recognize Gianni and Keg at the front of this group, and this whole group is chanting, and they've got glasses, and it's just like, dear God, what am I supposed to do with these people? Oh my God, what did he do?
Whoa.
Yeah.
As they approach, if I can see Keg, I will say, "Hey, old man, riches? Huh? I assume that was."
And he points at you, like he's like, Keg will throw him under the bus.
Yeah. I mean, he's big enough to throw Gianni just about anywhere.
He just shrugs and he like goes to Gianni. He's like,
No. Watch. I turn around. By the way, we are going to go face silent death.
Go on.
Everyone goes quiet. Yeah, everyone's like, and you hear some guy in the back. Yeah, and you hear some guy in the back going, riches? Just like real quiet, like he didn't get the message or didn't quite hear it. It's just like, riches? And somebody nudges him and he's like, oh!
Well, did you get him to sign the ledger, Johnny?
The ledger's here on the boat.
Okay. All right. And
But
The ledger is absolutely not on the boat. I look at Keg and I'm like, you were supposed to have the ledger. I thought we talked about this. God damn it, Jimmy.
Oh, Keg's like, what?
He's a bit of a firecracker, that one.
And he like this ledger. Yeah, I've got that.
Well, as you come onto the boat, you have to sign the ledger. Now that you know our full parameters of the mission, glad you got him here, Gianni. Hope they stay. But yes.
I think about a third of them.
Yep. I'm your first mate, Ace. That's what you can call me. Sign here. I'll assign you a bunk.
Yeah. Some of these guys, some of these people, good mix of people. Some of them are definitely not sober, for sure. When they come up to sign the ledger.
Absolutely. Well, that's all right. Unfortunately, in the land of Labuka and pirating,
if you aren't careful, get your ass on
when
a
it
boat.
When it comes solely to the act of recruitment and signing things, a drunk yes is a yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the way of it. They're just gonna wake up on the boat and be like,
I don't like it either, but that's who he brought me. So I mean, I guess I could give him field sobriety test. Okay, before you sign, number one, what is your dominant hand? You don't have one. All right. So what I need you to do is take both of your non-dominant hands. I need you to touch your nose, hold them out to the side, and then just touch your nose, and walk the plank. See if you can stay on there. That's now. Can you do the one that's You know what? Can you sign your name? Do you know your name?
Yes. Yeah.
And
it's like, yeah.
What can I call you?
George.
All right, Jorge, sign away.
Jorge. And he does.
He's Castilian now.
And if you do that with other people, like the others kind of get it's almost like this, like they're encouraging them because some of them are kind of so like if you're doing a film sobriety, some of the others are like, come on in. Your nose is right there.
And while I'm giving the first field sobriety test, I'm like, the rest of you can be practicing if you'd like to. That'd be fine. Just loosen up. You're on deck. It's going to be good, babe. So let's just get up there. Get your fingers ready to sign away. And
I'm loving this crew more and more.
Water, like walking up the gangplank, somebody topples in and somebody.
You didn't pass. I'm sorry, but we'll help you out because you already signed. So there's a grace period. All right. Well, Gianni, you did what I suppose we asked you to do. I've got this. You can go jump around. Jump around.
I'll see if I can
Jump up. I don't know. Maybe get
down. Thanks,
of course,
90s kids.
technically after the initial.
I legitimately think we have the perfect crew for us.
Yeah. Well, we get there, and George is the first one on the line.
Yeah.
You're the original, bud. The original. I'll get you a medal later.
The OG. Yeah, okay, so
the old George.
Yeah, these people are coming on, and Keg starts helping with the field sobriety test, and he's like, "Is this really necessary?"
I mean, it's not, but I don't want to hear about it later. If we get,
I mean, I was pissed when I signed up with Wheel.
I know, but you're at least good at your goddamn job, and I know about it. These guys, I have no idea, but if we get 150, kilometers out to sea, looking for this motherfucker, and then one of these decides, "Oh shit, I was drunk." Ooh. It's either they fall in the water now or they fall in the water then. I don't have a whole lot for them. I don't know what to do.
He's like, yeah, good point. He's like, do you know you're right from your? He's talking to some other. He's like, do you know you're right from your? Never mind.
Which side do you like? If you were armed right now, like if you had a weapon, which side would your cutlass be hanging on?
He's like,
It's the
right
one I
hand.
hold me mugs in. Arr.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, come on.
Mr. Bolin.
All right. So you and Keg are doing that. Gianni, what are you gonna do? You brought these people to Ace as requested.
I grab my concertina and I go down to the dock and I play the waiting music for the line as they're getting on the ride.
Oh God, it's like
It's
a
the
weird
girl from
Disneyland.
Ipanema. It's the girl from Ipanema.
Somebody's got to entertain them, or else they're gonna wander off.
From Ipanema says. Some of them start like yeah, in line. Okay, yeah, cool. All right, so it's a party down there now, is what I'm understanding.
I
It's
guess so.
it's a party down there. Lines, people taking tests, people concertina. I mean,
I love the fact that Andreas has no idea because he's headed to the other side of the island.
yeah,
You didn't make specifications.
No, I didn't, and I delegated, which means I earned every bit of this, and I love it.
you don't you even get somebody who like didn't come from the tavern. They just walked by and saw something was going on. And we're like, what's going on? And they're kind of like in line and they're like, oh,
See, I want to go
signing up
hunting
for
pirates,
something.
lad.
Yeah. And sure, so you get somebody like that too.
I know what
Just
hand
like,
my
hey,
right
what's
hand
going
is.
on?
It's like that extra
Yeah,
dude in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What was his name? We have a
All right, so y'all are doing that. Andreas, you had gone to the other side of the island, right?
oh yeah, Andreas just is like just strolling in his jacket, blades, everything. Like he's walking all confidently. I'm guessing this like just look like a rougher part of town, like rougher part of the island, or
It's like a camp. Like it's not rougher in the sense that I mean it's Labuka. So I mean you walk down the street and you got people hitting each other over the head and crap like that, fights breaking out. This isn't like a rougher part, it's a less developed part
okay.
of the island. So you kind of go out there and you're out there and you kind of follow where kind of where the count told you to go, and eventually you come across a camp. It's like a camp, a semi-permanent one. So they aren't just throwing out like a tarp over a tree or something. They built something, but it's a camp nonetheless. And you definitely see some military bearing people walking around there.
Andreas will start just asking around, looking for I guess somebody he'll admit it. He's looking for some people. He's wanting to hunt some pirates, and he needs some people that are loyal, and he's looking to hire them on.
Okay, so you're taking like a convince approach.
I'll do a convince or a notice or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you see them; they're not hiding from you necessarily. So do like a wit and convince.
Yeah, you're trying to
Test.
convince them not see them.
Yeah. Go with that and tell me how many successes you get.
Wow.
Just pick the strongest dude and challenge him.
I mean, it's on the short list. 4 successes with 1 left over.
Nice. You talk to the guy who seems to be like, I mean, it doesn't seem like they have an official leader, but this guy seems to be the one that people listen to. They don't have like a formal leader or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he seems to be the one that people are listening to. And he's sitting down in front of a tent amongst the campfire and all of that. And he is, let's see.
Is this the person a very Zach McGowan looking fellow?
Actually, it is a roughed up Witcher Henry Cavill looking fellow.
Oh, I accept it. I accept it. Oh.
I gotta come with us.
Um.
Like big, I
Oh
mean,
yeah. No. No. Yeah.
we're kind of grimed up and everything like
Oh
that,
yeah. No.
but
No. No.
seems to be the one that everyone kind of listens to. So you
Andreas will.
definitely go over there.
Andreas will approach and politely ask if he can join him.
Mm. Kind of get like a grunt and head nod to the chair.
Andreas will sit down and goes. So, from the looks of it, it looks like you are. Most people around here listen to you.
And he kind of looks and he kind of like gives a shrug. People do what they're gonna do.
I'm looking to hire some folks on for a. Well, I'll just put it bluntly. We're going after Silent Death.
The guy
And
stops what he's doing. He'd been sitting there like whittling something. He'd been like sitting there with his knife or whatever. And when you say that, he stops doing what he's doing, and he turns and looks at you. You and who?
myself, my ship, a few other ships. We intend to hunt him down and take care of him. And a good, strong fighting men and women.
He takes out his whittling again, and he's just kind of sitting there, whittling. And after a minute, I mean, if you just sit there and kind of wait, says, well, we are getting a little rusty being here on this island, and we certainly don't like pirates.
Neither do I.
He kind of looks over at like a few other people there, because now you're sitting there talking with him, and some of the others have kind of like come over a little bit, like they're trying to see what's going on, like who's talking to this guy, right? So some people have crept a little closer, and he looks over at a couple of them, and he just raises an eyebrow, and the other guy raises an eyebrow at him, and he turns back at you and he says, "Call me Leon."
Nice to meet you, Leon. Name's Andreas, captain of the Belladonna.
And what exactly are we going to be getting out of helping you find one of the most notorious pirates out there?
Well, as part of the crew, you're entitled to the same thing as every other part of the crew, a share in the profits.
I would request also for my people here that after this is done, we will be dropped off wherever we wish to go. And he's not looking at you, he's still whittling.
I could be amenable to that. Any price in particular you're looking to be dropped off?
We'll let you know.
And
You
that's
need
all.
people?
You need
We need a
people.
boat. Now,
I and I
my people are not much for sailing, but they are good at fighting. And they are good on the water. In other words, fighting on the water, fighting on ships, what
Mhm.
we were trained to do.
What was your history? Where'd you folks get your start? Training like that has to come from someplace in particular.
That's true. Is that necessary for getting on your ship?
More idle
Or merely
curiosity.
curiosity?
It is more idle curiosity. And I do have one final question. Even though we're hunting pirates, do you have any issues with working with pirates? As we're having to crew her mostly here, crew the Belladonna mostly here.
And again, he looks over at the group, raises an eyebrow. The others raise an eyebrow at him. And he looks back. He says, I suppose we can overlook it. Get off this island and to at least get rid of one pirate. One very nasty pirate.
Oh, more than one. We're aiming for most of his crew.
He raises an eyebrow at that. He's like,
What? You can't
and
guarantee all of
continues
them.
whittling. True. And he kind of looks over at his group again. Some people have gathered around. Now more and more people have gathered around. And they do eyebrow communication again. And he looks and he says, I think we can work with that.
We're going to set sail probably the next day. I will inform my first mate that you and your men will be arriving, and we'll arrange for you to have space on board.
He says, when do you want us? We can pack out in 15 minutes.
We're hoping to set sail in today or tomorrow. So I'd say just come in, head down.
All right. And he starts whittling again. And doesn't look at you. He says nothing else unless you say something, but he's not.
Andreas gets up and he'll leave that area.
Awesome.
Doesn't
All
and he walks
right.
confidently out with zero, like not even caring. So it's like if someone wants to come at it, he will show them how strong he is.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay. So, all right. So let's go ahead. So Nanette had just told. Let me just go where everybody was at for the second. Nanette had just told Thomas to go see Monsieur Antoine, and then I assume she was heading to go meet Robert.
Yep, they're gonna spend the afternoon running numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Not a euphemism.
It's really intense. Robert has to undo his cuffs at one point, so
Ooh.
He might have to adjust his glasses.
It's really intense. He
Oh.
might have to adjust his glasses. He might. It's hard work. It's hard work. Gotta get serious about it.
But
That's
if
right.
Nanette doesn't adjust hers, she doesn't notice.
Yes.
Look, focusing on the
cool.
numbers is a lot easier than focusing on everything she's just been told. So
You're losing your sense of taste, my dear. Robert suddenly doesn't seem that good.
That's exactly where it's going. You feel me. Feel me. Yes, that is
Oh,
exactly where
brutal.
it's going in my head.
Pretty soon, Ace will be looking pretty good.
that's
Oh.
unlikely.
I know it's not.
At first, you won't care about your food. You won't care what things smell like. You won't care what you wear. You won't care who you sleep with. You won't care who.
Oh,
Anything.
then we
that's
know where
that.
that's going. We know
I was
where
gonna
that's
say
going
that.
then.
Oh my God, you were going
That
to be.
that's connecting the dots for Nanette after
Oh,
her. And that is definitely what Antoine was indicating. it's all the same to you. So it's all, there's no variety, there's no taste, there's no
There's no
spice
spice
to
of
life
life.
anymore. There's no.
I like to think during that conversation in the background, like neither of them saw it, but Andreas just walking down the road, like down a window.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you can be in there with Monsieur Knight, Monsieur Robert, going over numbers, um, and all of that. I assume you just deal with like contracts and like what's been paid for and getting stuff
Yeah,
paid for,
it's
cannons, all of that.
really boring accounting work.
It's
Just
and
making
there are
sure
a
all the
couple
crews account.
heated exchanges. I mean, Robert takes his glasses off at one point and folds them and puts them to make a point at one point. So it's
Ninette sets her quill down.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like,
Glasses go down, quill goes down. And you're just
At one point, palms on table.
yeah. Oh,
oh, okay, that's
oh
that's
no.
that's too close to a fight, and I think Robert would win. We're
Just
keeping
pull
it
out dagger.
civil.
Just yeah. All right, so that's what Nanette's doing. And Andreas had gone, okay, you all at the party and the belladonna or whatever's happening, what are y'all doing down there?
Hopefully that's died right down.
Eventually you meander everybody on board, yes,
Once we get
and
there,
get people this time.
I start assigning hammocks based on their register, and we probably don't have. I mean, I'm not the quartermaster. And neither is Keg. I guess the quartermaster is around. I don't remember who that is or if that is, but
Sophia.
oh, so it's one of Nanette's people. I didn't above the table. I didn't know if I got Nanette's people. Are they at
Oh.
are they at the Count's estate, or were they still
I feel like
on
Keg
the...
would have gotten them. They
Fort
they
Hugh?
stayed
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
rest
Okay,
of the crew.
he would have sent word to everybody
Okay.
who was
Okay,
coming and
just
had
making
them
sure.
down.
I didn't know if they went with Nanette or if they
Yeah,
stayed
and
with
like
the
Holly
Fortuna.
and Luna are showing up because they saw all the stuff going on. So at some point they come on and bring their stuff. So basically Nanette's people, the Count's people show up. You know, and they're, I mean, they're Montaigne mostly. But they seem to be as efficient as anyone else. And you know, you take note of them. So basically everybody kind of converges to kind of get on the
Sure.
ship to make sure that it's ready for the next day to sail out.
Yep. We just
And
go
that's the
through it
thing.
all. Oh, go ahead.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we go through it all. I
Uh,
issue whatever, or the quartermaster issues whatever they get, whatever we have to give, and
Mhm.
probably starts taking a few more details than just their drunken scribs. But
Mhm.
then yeah, Ace will assign herself a hammock, and she will stay there.
Mhm. After a little while, does Andreas go back to the ship after he
Yes.
talks with the?
Yeah, Andreas will
Okay.
head to the ship.
Yeah. So you see, you know, that people are there now. You know, wide variety of people getting on, getting settled. The ship is you know, getting ready to go. Um, and
Andreas will find Pip or Squeak, whichever one he finds first.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot
Okay.
to send them to you.
All right.
yeah, all of them are on. You know, I'm just kind of assuming you just sent word to everybody you wanted
Sure.
to have on there.
So,
So yeah, okay. Who and where are you sending them?
as soon as he gets older, he's like, did Ace send you to Nanette to do some to grab an item?
Nope, I forgot.
No,
Oh, no worries, no worries. Would you,
you're a
would you-
little busy with drunk people. So
Yeah, no.
it's-
I
I'm
had
sure
to
that
suddenly give field sobriety tests to 50 people.
I'm sure that the first mate has been very busy getting the ship in order for going underway. Would you please be so kind as to run up to the Count's manor, and she should be able to get an item that you need to take to the Sapphire Dawn, and they'll have an item for you.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, yeah, Pip runs off. He runs off, and you three are free. Feel free to settle around the ship or whatever. At some point, Nanette, in your dealings with Robert, Pip, finds you eventually on the estate. Knocks on the door. He peeks his head in. Robert has never seen this kid before in his life, so
Be
when
gone.
Pip kind of knocks his head in, um, he kind of looks, and it's like, what? Yeah, kind of has this look on his face, like, what's your child doing here?
He's one of ours.
Oh.
Is this something you need?
Captain Karras sent me to get something for you to take to the Sapphire Dawn, and I'm supposed to get something
Oh,
from the Sapphire Dawn to take back.
right. You're going to want to find Tomas. He is with Charles in this room, this hallway, second floor. Just tell him to mark something, and
Have him knock.
yeah, they don't need to.
Okay.
They're not there yet.
Teach him
Don't
all
worry
the
about it.
things. It is time for you to learn,
Um,
Pip.
yeah, yeah. He said, okay, and he runs off. Is that child
cute, eh?
always so energetic?
Yes. It's rather endearing.
And he goes to write like somewhere in the ledger and all that. Yeah. So eventually, yeah, Pip comes back to the ship, Andreas, and he hands you it's glass. It's like a goblet of some kind, and actually it is not. It is not a um a goblet of some kind. It's a pistol.
I asked the weird question: is it a Mickey Hansen pistol?
It is actually.
They're all McYanson pistol.
Yeah.
Andreas takes it with pride. Well, he takes it from Pip and says, "Thank you. Please continue to make ready."
Hmm. And there is a mark on it that you can see. Um,
Andreas takes the pistol and he stows it in his cabin. Probably much smaller than what the captain's cabin had been like on the because
oh,
it's a frigate as opposed to a.
Yeah, he hands it over to you, but before Pip leaves, he's like, "Oh, Captain, uh, she said, uh, to make sure Ace gets the gun." She said.
Will do. Um, Andreas will tuck the pistol into his belt then.
But I just got rid of my marked pistol.
Um,
You another one.
So you're just gonna carry someone else's marked pistol? Okay, I see how it is.
ooh.
Ace,
Though I do
Ace
have a
is
quick
hoping
question.
Nanette will talk to her about it.
On Andreas's way back to the boat, could he have stopped like at a small just a stand that was there and picked up a lamp, like an oil lamp of some type?
Sure. Yeah, no big deal. A lamp. Sure.
Um,
I
so
hope
he'll
I don't regret saying that. But
uh,
sure, a lamp.
so Andreas will go into his cabin and he'll take the lamp and he will put it in a spot that makes sure it lights the cabin. And he then looks at his Davis and goes, "There's your spot." He shifts it over
I
to the
suppose
left.
that'll do.
I mean, look at the bright side. No pun intended. Uh, your lamp is just going to be lighting my cabin at night.
kind of huffs a little. He's been kind of petulant.
Oh, of course he's
Since
been
your last
petulant.
conversation.
I am taking so much joy out of his petulance too.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, yeah, I got a lamp now. Okay,
All right,
cool.
and then
Yeah, yeah.
Andreas is going to wander the boat and attempt to find Ace.
Okay, sure. That's not too hard. Find Ace, I'm sure.
You see my my large boots peeking up over the heel of a hammock, and probably my braid is like hanging out the side as I rest quietly.
Andreas will knock on a post as he kind of gets close.
Aye?
Just me.
Huh?
I have a bit of a gift
Yes,
for you.
Captain. I
No, don't worry about it.
Oh
You've been busy.
no! I artfully hop out of the hammock. I'm probably a little drunk too because they were passing around drinks as I was signing them on. So I probably artfully fall and land in the hammock below.
I
Hopefully it's
thought
empty.
I smelled the
More
telltale.
than one was like, I'll sign up if you drink. Like, sure,
Hey,
I'll sign that. Have a drink.
Captain. Yeah.
You know what?
Sign-
I thought I smelled the telltale smell of the salty sirens ale.
It was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. But some of these guys are just. I mean, they're just importunate. They're importunate. They just shove it. I was gonna say they just shove it in your face, but I don't want you to think anything weird. I don't like dicks. but
Figuratively or literally, any kind of dick.
yeah, I'm
Figuratively or literally.
sorry. I was trying to sleep it off, but God. Yes, Captain. A gift for me. Oh, you didn't have to. Shouldn't have even.
From the captain of the Sapphire Dawn, and he'll pull the pistol out and hold it out to her butt first.
Oh.
It's the one the captain had that you saw earlier that
Oh,
day.
she gave me the one off
That
her
was
hip? Wow, okay. Oh. Fantastic. Do I see the mark on it? Is this
Oh,
the
yeah.
mark? Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and if you didn't see it, Andreas was going to mention it.
Okay. Wow.
it's nice. I mean, now that you're holding this thing in your hand, your father obviously put great fucking care in this one.
I've only ever
Obviously.
seen one other like this one, and it's his. Which, I mean, I told you what little I know. So yeah, I don't even know if I want to use it.
I'm pretty sure that she sent it for a few reasons.
Well, yeah,
I'm guessing the least of which was
the mark.
I was going to say that it could protect you the way it's protected her over the years.
Oh. I wonder if she knows I can shoot. Oh well.
You're Mickey Anson. Of course she knows you can shoot.
I didn't get the looks. I got the eyes. But yeah, she.
I was going to say, don't sell yourself short there, Ace.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cap. Thanks. I'm gonna fit it into my pistol baldric. So I've got that one there, right above the one that I usually carry.
Mm-hmm. There's even like on the hilt of the pistol. It kind of hidden almost, but it's a flower. It's a flower that you know is native to Castile. Like you've seen it before, and your father had actually had some brought in. But it's this, and it's kind of engraved in a place you know you're kind of inspecting. It's kind of in kind of tucked under a little secret.
Oh, I do notice that because I have really good eyes, and I'm like, oh, because I'm kind of drunk and I'm having feelings. Oh,
It's you're emotional. She's a weepy drunk. Weepy drunk.
Captain, it's so cute. Look. This is see this flower here.
Yes.
I don't know what it's called because I don't know if you can tell. I'm not big into flowers. Um, but my dad put that there for her. It's native to Castile, and he made this beautiful specimen just for her. Hmm. I'm going to have to write him a really sappy letter. I'll do that later.
Well, as soon as we pull into a port where they're sending a ship in that direction, we'll be sure to mail it. I doubt the mail from here is going to make it to Avalon.
Highlands, I doubt it. It's fine. No, I have some other letters I need to write anyway. We have a hell of a journey ahead of us, and I've got a lot of things I've left unsaid.
Fair. I think one of
Thank
my
you.
goal. I think one of our goals over the weeks as we sail towards the Sarmatian Commonwealth, since we are going to need to pull into a port to be able to do things like that and resupply, make sure the crew can be presentable.
I'll work on that. Did you find your master of arms?
I did. A gentleman by the name of Leon. Uh, him
Leon.
and him and his cohort. They don't like pirates. In fact, their payment was a share of the. Oh no, they'll work with them. I made sure of that for. But
Okay.
there's
Do they understand that we're pirates?
I said that we'd hired on pirates as crew.
Okay. Did you mention that we're allied with at least one pirate ship? Because Miss Stormrider is quite
Notorious.
yeah, she's
Notorious.
notorious and she has no qualms with being called a pirate, and she will defend her line of work, I'm sure.
They'll work with them for the time being.
And then the
Uh, and
so
then
they're all
their payment is going to be a share, much like everyone else's,
of the
for being
loot.
part of the crew. And then they just asked us to drop them off somewhere.
Righto. Is if they're loyal, that'll be fine. But we will make sure that as far as presentable, and I understand you mean most of the lot we picked up today, but do they look like they'll clean up? I mean, are they former Navy men or
So they are former Marines.
right? Well, uh, we will do our best. I doubt that it was in the preparations, but I shouldn't put anything past uh, those that make those sorts of orders. But
I wasn't
I'm sure nicer clothes and perhaps something unifying
less
amongst us.
less uniform. I'm thinking less uniforms and more just
Clean.
not clean, not screaming that they just came from Labuka and are pirates. More
I
more
think
being subtle.
I think Keg and uh, Mr. Bloam, or whatever his name was, like August. I think we'll be. I think they'll do fine.
Oh yes.
Roping them in. Yeah, reining them in. Well,
And if not, uh, Bear's whip is probably going to taste a lot of flesh.
yeah, wouldn't want to be. I mean, at least we got a good surgeon, I hear. Um, are you ready for this? Are you okay? You doing all right?
I've got a lot to learn, and I've got a brave face to put on.
The Davis is there and he's like, no kidding.
You do. I mean, if you can put up with him constantly calling you a piece of shit, I suppose that you'll deal with the ship just fine.
I'm less worried about dealing with the ship and the personalities and that kind of stuff because, if necessary, I will straighten things out one way or another.
Hopefully, you
Uh,
don't
If I
have to
have to
do
kick
too much.
everyone's butt on this boat, everyone will
Hopefully,
step in line.
I will say, hopefully, you don't have to do that. It does work in some cases, but it also does not work in others. I'm not that you can't kick their ass. You obviously can, but it usually results you lose as many as you keep.
mhm.
It sucks.
That's
So
why
if
I'm
we
hoping it
can,
doesn't come to that. I'm more worried about taking her into battle. I know
well, we'll
war,
get
but
trained on
this is
that too.
different.
So Keg's got some secrets up his sleeveless tunics. So it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So Gianni, what have you been up to?
Uh, honestly, just staying out of
It's
trouble.
getting on towards
I've already
evening.
created enough.
He's staying on.
I created enough trouble. I'm trying not to get into more.
It's getting on to evening, and at certain point, it starts to get a little darker in the room you're working in, Nanette. Everybody on this is starting to get darker outside. And Robert eventually, stands up, puts his glasses on, does up his cuffs, and he says, the Count would like you and your officers to come for dinner so he can send you off with dinner and then see you off in the morning.
That sounds delightful. Thank you. And it's been a pleasure working with you.
Yes, yes. And despite our disagreements on certain things, it at least was efficient and productive.
Well, if there weren't disagreements, then it wouldn't be business.
This is true. As they say, everyone goes away from a good compromise unsatisfied. And he'll
we'll
turn and
work to
look.
rectify that.
Everyone walks away satisfied. Yeah, he'll go and and he can send you can stay up there and see your parents. Your parents and Charles and Thomas are also invited to the dinner. The Count will send word down to the ship that your officers are invited up to have dinner at the estate before sailing in the morning.
Andreas
If you
makes
would
it
like, you don't have to.
Andreas makes it a point that if that he invites not only just like making sure his first mate's there, but he makes sure that Keg, August,
Bear and
Bear, Veps, Sting, like
wow, all of them.
oh yeah, no, he wants the
All
officers.
the officers.
He's getting the officers.
Well, Captain, may I please? I ask your forgiveness, but can I skip?
If you would like to, I would be more than I would feel extremely comfortable with your watchful eyes, making sure this boat is stays ready through the night.
Absolutely. I can do that for you. I will see you in the morning.
And Andreas, gives Ace a little like knowing wink and heads off with the rest of the officers.
Mm-hmm. Are Nanette
And Gianni
going?
As I say, Gianni, you are invited if you'd like to come, or if you'd like to stay on the boat.
Ace will happily, if you don't want to go, Ace will take dinner with you.
Yeah, well, I'll send the boat. I don't.
He just had dinner. He had breakfast with Nanette's parents. He's in a little bit of a rough spot.
It was.
They're gonna be in company. They're gonna behave.
I was gonna say
probably.
there are plenty of folks still on the boat that did not come, like the cook, the boatswain's mate. Like there's still a large number of crew members that need to be fed and stuff. So
Yeah, we'll take care of that. Please
Sweet.
give the Count
right.
my regards.
oh, of course.
Cool.
Hey,
Yeah, so cool.
Cabin
So
party.
y'all
Cabin party.
Yes,
um,
I'm so proud of you.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Oh my gosh.
joking.
Yeah, so Ace and Gianni on the boat, make sure dinner goes off and all of that. The crew is fed, and on all of that, and they seem to be doing okay as far as getting along.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah, we'll have like a nice little crew dinner, and we'll introduce people, and I guess
Yeah.
Holly and Luna are probably there, and so like
Mhm.
these who's is what's is, and these are the people you can talk to if you can't get the who's is, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
little impromptu orientation kind
Yeah.
of thing. Sweet.
Welcome
Cool.
to pirate hunt.
What's your pirate hunting? And Nanette and Andreas go up, and the Count has set out a spread, of course, a very typical Montaigne spread. Whole meal. Your parents are there; they're seated next to you. And Thomas and Charles are there, also like on your other side. So it's basically like you have your parents, and then Thomas, and then Charles. Like y'all are kind of like seated together. And yeah, the dinner is great. I mean, if you want to talk to, if any of you, Gianni or Ace or Nanette or Andreas, want to talk to anybody over dinner, you're more than welcome to do so, or you cannot and just.
I think
know.
Gianni and I just we eat with the people, and maybe dinner turns into a few tables of sweet Jenny, and we just
Sweet.
pretend like we're already at sea.
Bond. I like it.
I tell them,
What do y'all?
I was going to say, if you do a bad job, you'll be locked up in here with the cockroaches for 2 weeks without food or water.
He's full of shit. Don't believe him.
I'm sorry, I'm quoting Goonies.
Oh wow, I forgot about that.
Andreas will probably sit close enough to Nanette to be able to, so that the two of them can quietly catch up.
Yeah.
Since they were like full, and now we're like, okay, this is what happened.
And
Yeah.
Nanette made an effort to clean up a little bit and look at least presentable, but she's still wearing a bunch of bandages to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andreas probably
Yeah.
is not dusty, but I think he definitely helped out with like loading supplies onto the boat. Yes, he's the captain, but at the same time, he's got to earn the respect of these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dinner is decent. Thankfully, Nanette's parents don't say too much at all. They're just kind of taking it all in still, and all of that. Thomas and Charles are talking together, and Thomas at one point will look to Nanette and he will say, Charles and I want to go with you.
I assumed as much. There will always be a place for you on the ship. I hope you know that.
Yeah, I told and Thomas says I told him he could stay here, but he didn't want to. They thought that there might be some books he'd run into, but I doubt it. I told him we were going after pirates, and I didn't think that there was going to be a whole heck of
There's
it.
history
It really sounds
to be
like
made.
a bullshit excuse, and chronicling everything, of course. Yeah. So yeah, your brother mentions that he wants to go. Your parents don't like that, but they've kind of worn down. Like they're kind of not arguing about anything anymore. The Count assures you that your parents can stay here and their people can stay here. It's nice having other Montaigne around, of status around or worse. So, who appreciates all the fine, so he's congenial about it and all that. So, yeah. So, other than that, the evening will progress as such. Sometime in the night, because after y'all, I assume y'all go back to the ship after dinner,
Oh, yeah.
and all of that. Unless you stay at the estate, you certainly can if you would like to. But y'all are planning to leave in the morning, and the Count does intend to see you off. And sometime in the night, the cannons are, because you guys are trying to get out there quickly. Everything had to be expedited, so there is some stuff that's delivered in the night, like the cannons and things like that, and some of the other supplies that are a little harder to get because they try to get them out there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So,
And Ace and Kegel make sure that, and probably Sophie, whatever her
Sophie.
name is, the quartermaster will be there, and we'll make sure that everything gets. We'll take a nap and then we'll be up.
I would say Veps would definitely be involved with the cannon being
Veps.
loaded, and
Yeah.
Abel.
Good old Veps. Good old Veps and Abel.
So, yeah. So I assume everybody, unless somebody needs to do something to talk to somebody desperately before everyone settles down, everyone eventually settles down. You have watches set, I'm sure, like splitting up the crew who's
Mhm.
gonna be up and you know, you don't need a huge one because you're not actually sailing the ship at this point, but just a group of people to stay awake and keep an eye on things.
Mhm.
Net's
And all of
gonna. Oh, I was gonna say Nanette's going to grab Luna, and we're gonna go for one last night on the town.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, so just go drink some
Yeah,
makeovers. Like, what are we doing? What's your night
yeah.
out
There's
like?
there's gonna be a little bit of a makeover situation, and yeah, they're just gonna have their night out that like they had planned. Um,
Oh yeah.
and she lets Andreas know where she's gonna be and where she will likely. She'll be back before around dawn.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, so after all
I
that,
hope your night is
morning
uneventful.
come
Yours as
around,
well.
and the makes a big production of once people have gotten moving, ships, the docks are moving, all of that stuff for the morning time. The count makes a big production of coming down in a carriage to the dock and sweeps out in a gorgeous outfit, of course, Robert behind him, and he gives some sort of talk. I mean, it's platitudes, it's blowing hot air, like may they be successful in their quest to bring back the property and get rid of that scourge, silent death, and blah 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 blah, and
As-
and
uh,
really it's not for any purpose other than he feels like he wants to make a show of it. You really
Quite
don't need all that,
Yeah.
but
extremely quietly while standing next to Ace, as we're like just basically politely waiting on this. Andreas is going to lean slightly over so he can just whisper, "This is the real reason the Sapphire Dawn's going to be really ahead of us."
I just kind of wish he hadn't have mentioned Silent Death. I mean, I'm sure the old fart's got friends around here.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to get information. Oh,
I'm
fuck
just
that.
saying.
Yeah,
Now
fucking
he
door mages.
knows.
Yeah.
Here we go.
all right, so he eventually finishes up, loses trails off, or Robert gets him away finally.
He just starts
um
drinking and wanders off like Dean Martin.
yeah, exactly.
Show's over, guys.
Just yeah, okay guys, bye. And yeah, and you guys are prepared. You have your supplies on board that came on during the night. The as far people are reporting from different areas, everything is good to go. And yeah, so the Belladonna is ready to move out and sail out of Labuka at the
Let's
word.
do it.
Cool.
Uh,
All right.
Andreas will look to his first mate and go, "Let's get underway."
Aye. And Ace goes off shouting orders. Keg's
Yep.
probably shouting orders. We're all shouting orders. It's a bustle of
Yeah.
activity. Gianni's flipping around the rigging somewhere.
From rigging. Yeah, you're up there, doing all that. You're moving sails, you're helming the ship out, and everything.
Oh,
And it pulls out. It's a nicely handling ship. I mean, it is according to the helmsman or whoever's doing that. It does handle
uh,
nicely. So
Andreas is going to try to get Gianni's attention and kind of wave him down real quick.
Okay. I come on down. What's going on?
You said you'd gotten a flag.
Oh yes. Yes I did.
We don't have a flag yet.
Do we not?
no, I mean there's not the count left the naming and all of that stuff up to whoever was going to win the ship. So you don't have
Maybe
a
not.
flag. You don't.
I don't know if we want to sail that one. That's Roxanne
It is the
of the
Tempest
table.
flag.
It is the Tempest's flag.
Um,
Well that means I'd be slightly concerned of a change of intent or ownership with the flag. If suddenly it became this ship's flag, it might interfere with the fate.
Give me
Fair,
a day and I will have a flag for you.
fair, fair. That being said, if you're willing, when we finally catch Silent Death on the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything more intimidating than the Tempest coming after Silent Death.
We'll see.
I mean,
I
I'm not there.
I have a kind of have a bad feeling. And he reaches into his pocket.
Okay.
With good reason.
Which one's that?
The magician.
Which could be you or Silent Death. Or
Yeah.
There's like 4 of us on board. It could be.
yeah, considering it was involving the flag and the Tempest anyway,
Yeah.
my guess would have been that it's either about Gianni or something.
It was an idea. I'll keep it in the back pocket.
Yeah. Who are they? Glory and riches.
Glory and riches.
Nice.
Crawls back up into the sails, though.
All right. You navigate out of the maze a little bit. That is, getting into where Labuka is. Because it does have those rocks and stuff around it, and you manage to get out there, and you're on the open ocean. So, how are we determining which way we're going? What method among the many that you have are you going to use to determine which way we want to go? Where are we going?
So, yeah, probably would have already discussed this, but the best way would probably be to use the compass, but if we're also sailing with the Sapphire Dawn to some, because we are, right? They're within.
No, they are. They specifically said to us they wanted to sail separately.
I thought they legitimate. I thought that too, Michael.
They
but then
were
Danny
leaving in
said
the
that they
morning.
wanted to stay close.
Oh, they want to stay close?
Because yeah, so they would have followed you out because Captain Stormrider said that they could be ready by then to head out. They had to do some repairs.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, they kind of follow you out. Yeah, your ship. What she had said is your ships kind of complement each other in terms of what they can do and whatever. So she thought it was best that y'all at least be like in
close
each other.
Yeah, and so I'm sure we would have conversed with Stormrider.
Oh, definitely.
And
you knew
I would use the compass, and based on what we did know, Ace knows all the color guard moves, and she flips her flag around and does a little march up on up in the crow's nest. No,
I was gonna say we probably just agreed, since we have the ways of tracking, that we will take lead. So
yeah, and that's fine. And I probably have in that discussion we can hand wave it that I have the compass that gives a general direction of where at least the pot of gold is, and then if we absolutely need to, or if Stormrider has a way to find out where Kaya is based on Storm Sun, then Ace also has the way to contact Kaya if we feel that's necessary. But knowing where they were just a day ago, that's the direction. And the was it the devil's teeth or whatever? We're just gonna head. We're gonna head.
Yeah, the dragon's teeth. Yeah.
The prophet's teeth. But yeah, it's changed names. I
was like, we don't have a devil in there really, so it's. It has depending on
Davis.
Where you're
it's
from.
the Davis's teeth.
How about
it's
that?
the Davis teeth.
In some places it's the devil's teeth, in some places it's the dragon's teeth, some places it's the prophet's teeth. Depends on what country you're from.
I believe then that Andreas would say, Ms. McJohnson, please take the helm.
Aye.
Mm-hmm.
And we.
Cool. All right. Okay, cool. So, it is going to be pretty decent sailing for about a week or so. So we're gonna flash forward a little bit. Um, how are you all getting by in the ship? Let me give you status of the ship. First of all, uh, the cruise. There have been a couple, but nothing. Thankfully, all these people, they're kind of used to a hodgepodge of people, mostly. So, the Montaigne crew, Nanette's people, might have a bit more harder time with that than the others. But the people like Gianni got, the Count's people, and like the Marines and all that, are pretty used to working with a variety of different people. So there isn't too much, altercations or anything like that.
Sure.
There may be a couple, but nothing huge. Like you don't have a faction, factions brewing or anything like that. Yeah, and the weather is pretty good. As you're going along, and you don't see too many ships heading towards where you're going. So how are y'all spending the week, or is there anything particular you want to do during the
I'm sure it's just a lovely week of everybody avoiding everyone. Just doing their jobs and keeping their heads down.
I say Andreas would be studying as much as he could, like naval warfare.
I would assume that you would be also having the Master at Arms be training some of the
Yes.
the crew, at least for, and Keg has some raiding training, boarding training, but he's an older folk, and also he's Vesson, so whatever. Is Leon like Avalonian? I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Avalonian. Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He is.
So he might
some
have.
of his people are some of his people are Eisen, but some of his
Okay.
people are Avalonian. It's kind of a mix between Eisen and Avalonian.
So they probably have a little bit of a different style of ship to ship, like melee combat. About like boarding and all of that. So I would say that probably that first week, if Andreas is also studying naval combat, there's probably just a lot of what do we need to do? Where are these new guys? Where are they at as far as, are they comfortable with boarding ships? Are they can they shoot? Can they sword fight? I think there's going to be a lot of that happening. I mean, and best case scenario, we don't have to do it, chaps, but worst case scenario, we're going to do it a lot. So, there's that. I had something else I was going to say, but I don't remember. So, I think that's
Andreas
good.
will,
Yeah, go
as I
ahead.
say, Andreas will also participate in that training.
Ace probably will too.
Leon, big, broad-shouldered, Leon, they're very serious. They drill all the time where they have room, to drill. When they're not like showing people how to do stuff, they're always like drilling and trying to keep sharp, and getting their sea legs back and all of that stuff. They're not sailors, but I mean they're made for going from ship to ship as well. So they're familiar with boats, and they can do things if you specifically tell them to. But they are not sailors specifically.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to be like, Ace, after like a day or two, is like, so you got us a bunch of boys that can fight, which is great. That's fantastic. That's what we needed. That's what you said you were getting. They don't know how to sail worth fuck, which kind of gets them in the way a little bit. But, I trust you, but we might want to like literally show them some ropes. Just a little bit if we need them to step in a pinch.
We'll speak with Leon. Did I ever get a last name from Leon?
He's
No.
just Leon of
Love it.
Rivera.
And he won't provide one.
He's very quiet.
Fair enough. I'll
he's
talk
a
with them
one-word
and we'll
answer,
try to get
grunts,
them in.
Are
Uh,
all of his men?
No, there are a variety of women and men in his group, and non-binary people of indeterminate. Which is
Fantastic. Very
how it's
progressive of
yeah.
Leon. Thank you, Leon.
Leon's all like, "You
Hey,
can
he
kick
don't
ass. You're
care
in."
about any of exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. He don't care as long as you kick
Just
ass
gonna,
when you need to.
I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna
Excellent.
call Leon the Iron Bolt. That's what I'm gonna do. That's just what we're doing.
Um,
Yeah,
Andrea,
he grunts, one word answers, that sort of thing. Pass a turn.
yeah. Andreas will probably talk and see if we can like try to work between Leon and Ace and see if we can't fit them in, even if it's like helping out with like lookout, like
Yeah,
look.
yeah. I'm gonna be like, okay, here's a spyglass. I'm gonna throw this ring that's got an inscription on it. I'm gonna throw it a mile out, and I want to see if you can read it. How good
Yeah.
are your eyes?
Testing them.
One of
Jeez.
the long arms users. Not only do they see it, they then shoot it. They shoot right through the
it.
ring.
They shoot it right, yeah, right through it. They're like, and from a distance, my keen ears hear. No, it's I just cool. Yeah.
Gianni. How's Gianni spending this week?
I see Gianni as kind of he's going to be working alongside the crew, uh, providing entertainment when people need it, and working morale and checking on people. So keeping everybody on the same page and working together.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Nanette.
So Nanette came onto the boat minus bandages, and actually dressed as well as she could be for Labuka, but she's been maintaining sort of the same getting to know the crew vibe, largely probably working a lot with Sting for the many injuries that all these heavy training sessions are going to cause. And since Sting is a bit she's a little gruff, so Nanette's going to be kind of like the softer nurse of the surgeon's office. Very
Nanette
polite
has
and
the
proper.
bedside manner. Sting is like, get in bed. Drink this. I told you to. Stop it.
Stop hitting yourself, idiot. She's like a
Yeah.
big, strong Ison woman that doesn't take any shit. So, and that's like,
Yeah.
it's all right. Everybody makes mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome.
Largely avoids
Okay.
Ace though. So
Awesome. So, Ace, a couple days like into this week, you do feel your mark. I was trying to
Wonder of wonders. Somebody wants to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm at the helm, I will request whatever other officers near me, whether it's Keg or even if Andreas is there, just be like, I need to go below decks, and I'm getting a call.
Somebody can take over. That's no problem. Yeah.
Take the wheel. Just
gotta use the Papal seat.
No, I'm not gonna.
Take the wheel.
Prophet, take the wheel.
No! I can't do this on my own.
No. But yeah, and I'll go down. I assume generally, I think the first mate would have a cabin, but Ace did specifically not take one. But if there's like a storeroom that she can go to, she will go there and shut the door.
Yeah. You can easily find a place to be by yourself, and you connect. You feel that warm, feeling that you usually get when you talk to your brother. It has been a bit, and when you are looking, you connect and you're looking. He seems to be in a storage place, much like you are, and he's got parchment. And because he's trying to be quiet, so he's got parchment. And well, I mean, you figure, he's
no.
on
I assume that's what he's. Yeah.
Yeah. So he writes, Sorry I couldn't get free before now.
No, it's all right. Are you okay?
I'm as well as. Remember when you asked me about if I saw Silent Death do the storm or summon the storm?
Yes.
I did. I saw him on the bow of the ship doing that with these bracers he had, and he's writing all this down.
Sure.
And
Your handwriting's
then he
beautiful.
said, "My uncle taught me." If you say that, he's like, "Uncle taught me." Um, and he says, "It's been hard because we lost quite a few crew after that incident."
Okay. Do you know why? I think I do,
I
but do
I
you know?
I don't know. We had to stop and try to find some more people. We had to stop at a port to
Kaya,
try to rustle up.
I, uh, I need you to, I need you to be very, very careful. And I honestly don't know if I should tell you to lay low or if I should tell you to make yourself indispensable. But you need to be very careful because your captain can do some very, very dark things, probably without your permission.
Dark things? Question mark.
We learned that your captain can use fate. I don't know how familiar you are with fate lines and sorte
Like
and stuff like that.
like Bodachi magic?
Yes,
Question
yes,
mark.
exactly, exactly. He can use that, and because of those bracers that he wears, he can draw energy from his people, or anyone, any people, and power the storms. And if you didn't know that, I take it he's not telling anybody that he can do that.
I didn't know. He says. Period.
Um, it's very, very important to me that you stay safe. Does he know who you are? Like, does he talk? Uh, does he acknowledge you, or are you just crew to him?
I've tried to stay out of the way as much as possible. I
Good.
think he gives crew. I don't even know if he knows my name for real.
Okay. There's
He
also,
seems really preoccupied lately.
I imagine, are you still near Sarmatia, Sarmatian Commonwealth?
We're heading there. Yeah, we had to stop, but we are still on our way there, as far as I
Okay.
know.
Well, so are we. Um, we do have a way to kind of keep an eye on y'all. Besides this, God, this feels like the wrong time to say it, but I don't know a better way to say it. But I found Mom, and she's coming with us.
And it's just like, "Mom?" Question mark.
Yeah, she was in Labuka, like you were. I guess that's why I never could find anybody. I didn't go to Labuka ever. Not a big pork eater. I don't know. It wasn't my thing.
There's quite a bit of a pause,
I'm sorry. I
and
don't. I don't know. I don't know.
eventually his hand starts writing again, but it's a little bit shaky. And he says, "How did she look?"
I mean, she looks healthy. She's looking for you. I mean, you take after her. If that's what you're asking, if you're asking what she looks like, you take after her. But as far as is she okay, she's okay. She was looking for you, and she had to come to Labuka. She found out somehow that you're on that crew. She's worried about you too, and I understand if that. I understand if that doesn't mean a whole lot. But she is, for what it's worth.
It does. It does mean something.
I'm gonna do, and I think she is too. But we're gonna do whatever we absolutely can to get you off that boat. Unless I really wish you weren't there. But I understand you didn't. We don't know each other from anything. We met one night in Labuka, and then I popped up in your head a couple times. But I really wish you weren't on that boat.
There's another long pause. And he writes down, he says, "It's not your fault. I wanted to do this. I don't have a lot of family. I wanted to help you."
Yeah. Well, for the exact same reason, I'm gonna get you off that fucking boat. If it's the last thing I do, ever, I will get you off that boat.
He uh he writes down, and he starts to write something and pauses, and writes something and pauses, or starts to, he keeps kind of, and he keeps starting and stopping, and he says, "Take care of yourself. I want to see you again."
I'm gonna do my best. My absolute best. Which, admittedly, is kind of shit. But I'll pretend.
You see it like the shake, like he's laughing, you see it like he's laughing a little bit.
Again, I don't know if this means anything to you. And I assume it probably does. It means something to me. But you stay alive, I'll stay alive. Because I love you. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure you see me and you see Mom and that you see Dad.
He he writes down after a minute. He writes down 143. And 143 is light code, and on ships that they kind of turned into beeper code in modern times, but
Yep.
it's "I love you" in uh light
Yep.
code.
Yep. And just all this that you're writing down, burn it. Don't let anybody see. And
I will.
I know that the other day when I was rubbing my birthmark that I felt you connect in some way. Even if we can't talk and we can't take a minute to do this, I will do that. And I'll touch my arm twice every night, and that's how you'll know that I'm okay.
And he says every night and underlines it.
Every night. Please be safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Stay safe too. He's like 143. And then like the connection kind of leaves.
And Ace stays in a closet and she cries for a while.
Oh. Alrighty. Excellent. Well, alright, so a week has gone by, all of those things have happened. It is nighttime. Do any of you have night shift at all? Do any of you take a night shift or anything like that? Where would you be at night?
I
Would you
think
be sleeping? Or
so. If we do, when we can discuss this after the episode too. But just for the sake of it, I think Ace would probably take because it's split into 4 shifts, so A, B, C, and D. She would probably take D shift and A shift. So she would be on for part of the night and then the morning. And I would assume Andreas would probably be like A and B shift.
Andreas probably took himself out of the shift rotation, but
Oh, that's
he
probably
basically,
true.
making himself available. So if it would be people who are up who kind of are running things, it would be Keg probably is the B and C shift while you're at the D and A shift or the A and D shift.
Mhm.
And Andreas
DNA
basically,
shift.
yeah, I went there.
Yeah.
And then
Shredded
Andreas
DNA.
basically he probably doesn't sleep overly much because he's getting ready, and kind of pseudo stressing out, but trying to hide it as best he can.
Mhm.
So
Cool. What about Nanette and Gianni? Are you sleeping at night? Are you hanging out at night? Or what would you guys be doing at night? Let's say like 2 in the morning, 2 a.m. That kind of early morning. Ace would be on shift at
Yeah, I'd
that
probably
point.
just be coming on shift. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Gianni would be up
Hmm.
because it's a time that he's used to doing the work he used to do, and it's a good time to also keep an eye on the rest of the crew. Because if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen when nobody's watching. Anybody doing anything shifty, stuff like that.
Indeed. What about
Ninette's
Nanette?
probably asleep.
Okay.
She's probably sleeping.
All right.
Unless Sting needs her for surgery, she's probably sleeping.
Yeah. Um. So anyone on deck, probably Gianni and Ace. I don't know if Andreas would be wandering around since he's kind of not on a shift rotation that early in
Andreas
the
is
morning.
probably like in his cabin awake, the Davis's lamp lit as he's like checking over the numbers, going like working the things that kind of Keg and Ace have taught him about navigation. That way he can update charts and update the logs and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Um. It takes a while. Well, much like what happened in Charus. Um. A storm, Ace. You see a storm coming rather quickly.
Okay.
And you're not sure. You're pretty sure y'all won't be able to turn out of it in time. It's big, and not only that, so it starts rumbling in. Like you had a pretty clear night, and then both Ace would be the first to notice it.
Mhm.
That much like Charus, where it was like nothing, 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 but you saw it in the distance. It feels much that same way.
Okay.
Because you're like, hey, you see that, and people are like, what, and you're like, oh, again,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Piss. Piss. Piss.
Um,
All right.
However, as you're sitting there going piss, 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 the person up in the crow's nest hollers down, and you hear Kraken! It's the Kraken! And then the cry goes up all over the ship in different languages. And anyone who understands major languages, can understand that they're basically saying, this undersea creature in all sorts of different languages. But essentially, it goes to like a leviathan, a kraken, a giant octopus, whatever they call it.
Is this okay? So there's a storm. I'm making sure I understand everything that's happening. There's a storm and a kraken, or there's a kraken in the storm.
There's
Is this
a
like
kraken
Sharknado?
in the storm underneath
Christ.
the storm.
Oh, underneath
Like
the storm.
following-
Okay.
Yeah, like it's in the water. Like
Kraken-nado.
I thought it was in the squall. I was like, shit.
I'm just gonna drop a kraken on y'all, just right on top of the ship.
Forget
Just-
Sharknado.
There goes my danger points.
Would that be a Kraken cane?
Yeah.
Kraken
cane, yeah.
cane?
Kraken cane.
Oh,
Kraken noodle. So what it is you see the storm coming, and it's almost like the kraken is bringing the storm with it, almost.
Oh.
And you can see once, because you saw it a few minutes, and you were like, "What the heck?" And then you heard the cry like a little bit later.
Okay. Okay. Rue is not gonna make any jokes because the jokes are here.
Yeah.
But she is
Yeah.
Ace is like Oh yeah. Oh, are you cutting?
I'm cutting. I'm
Okay.
cutting. Yeah,
Ace
with
does
the
not
with the kraken and the storm
And
bearing
scene.
down on the ship. Yes, quite obviously a gift from Silent Death. And who knows how many people he trained to send the King Kraken. But yeah,
Should have set
coming
that
after
bounty
you, and
higher.
that is where. Yeah, you should have.
I
You should.
anticipate that he put the bracer, like the bracer is on the Kraken. Like he's like, oh, hey little buddy, and he's like, let me see
It's
your
my
arm,
pet. Let me see your tentacle. Let me
and just
just
come back to me when you're done. Now see if you
run.
just think about it real hard, you can make a good old storm. Little
Good,
bastard.
good. Just find that ship. It has a chewy center, all sorts of
No,
people
no.
on it, things to nibble on. And that is where we're going to end. So next time we will deal with the ubiquitous Kraken. The
Kraken,
Kraken.
start aboard.
So until then, I wish everybody fair winds and following seas.
As always. Till next time.
Doomed.